Are you colorblind, Dale?
No, I'm not.
You sound disappointed. Like, I missed that one. Dang it.
Dude, well, in the Oppression Olympics, I need all the help I can get.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. I was gonna say you
I
can't
saw-
tell anyway. Fuck it.
Yes.
I saw a meme come across. It was like, victories we're celebrating in this. It was a picture of a Rubik's Cube, and the text was, everyone told me I'd never be able to solve the Rubik's Cube because I'm colorblind. Well, here you go. You can go suck it. And, of course, it's all screwed up.
Yeah.
SNAFU. Situation normal. All fouled up. This is SNAFU.
Welcome to another episode of SNAFU. I'm your host, Rick. With me is Dale.
It's Dale.
Is it Dale?
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's coming up. Pat?
This is not Dale. This is Pat.
Sure. And then Jeff.
Howdy.
That I'm sure of.
What are you giving him a straight answer for? What the hell?
Because Jeff is flying straight narrow today, apparently.
It's because he's
It's
under
not
the weather.
he's not
Straighten
doing
up
the-
and fly right.
You can tell he's not feeling well when he's not being a smartass. So
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, tonight is we just got a FAQ to land, and we're going to talk about Armies of China. Why are we talking about Armies of China, Pat?
Because the Chinese New Year is February 16th.
Oh, all right.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
The Year of the Dog. Well, when I was a kid, that was like one thing my parents always made sure they went out with their friends and stuff like that, and so always had a babysitter. So Chinese New Year has always meant something to me, meaning parents are going to be gone and going to have a babysitter. So
Is this an excuse for your parents to go out and drink?
my parents didn't actually drink.
Oh,
I kind
all right.
of wish they had, but no.
Fair. Okay.
No, they did not. In fact, the closest my dad ever came to drinking was having beer poured over the barbecued chicken. And he would sometimes finish the rest of the beer.
That sounds delicious, actually. But
It is really good.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
all right. Well, we're all here, and then we've kind of talked about what we're going to talk about. So let's dive in. Let's do hobby updates. I'll start with myself because I suck, and I have done next to nothing for the last couple weeks. So there's mine. How about you, Jeff? Have you been doing
Well, have
something?
you done nothing or next to nothing?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I finished a unit of 12 guys.
That
That's
sounds
something.
like something.
Well,
guys or what?
I'm sorry. I assembled, not finished. Of those crappy Americans that have arms that I can't figure out how to glue together. This is like seriously like the marathon of all marathon
The
challenges.
multi-puzzle kit.
Destroying the
there
will
were
to live.
instructions,
So.
and they're all labeled and shit, and there's pictures.
You have a
Rick.
picture
I
of the
mean,
final one, right? Just start with the corners and work your way around.
Oh, my God.
Kind of doesn't work that way when you cut them all off the. It's like doing a puzzle upside down. And
It's like doing a puzzle with a box of Frosted Flakes and trying to make Tony the Tiger.
kind of. I think I'd have better luck actually. But so no, I got another 12 of them assembled, which has taken me all of the will I can muster for the month. So we'll see what I do after this. I might glue some shit onto my Marines, and I'm gonna.
That's pretty good. I mean,
primed.
you made it to the 11th or 12th of the month, whatever today is. So
It's
Before
a short
giving
month,
up.
too.
Well, I think I'm counting some of January in that time frame. So I don't know when our last episode aired, but that's about where I am. So how about you, Pat? What are you working on? Tell me not Gurkhas. No Gurkhas.
No, the Gurkhas have been boxed up and put aside. You know, I displeasure at the extra mold and flashing that was on them. I just didn't have a theme for them, and I didn't want to have to deal with that whole thing. So,
are the Gurkhas metal or plastic?
they're still metal.
Oh, I'm just curious. You said flashing and molding, and I was. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay. Otherwise, I've moved on to the glorious set of Germans, which is a very daunting pile, and I've actually assembled and primed all 36 Grenadiers.
Nice.
Damn. Did those? if I remember correctly, are they single arm, like arms with guns attached, or are they guns separate from the arms?
Yes and no.
Oh, it depends on which ones you're doing. That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
So
assault rifles and stuff like
there's
that.
one assault rifle which has got the gun connected. I used that one as much as I could, and then there's a couple of the rifles that are connected, and then the machine gun on that one is kind of wonky. The guys they don't have a firing pose for the main machine gun. It's just like slung over her shoulder and like looking all badass and stuff.
Oh, he's like running. Yeah, I remember that one.
So I got a bunch of variants of that, but I also had an extra sprue left over from Bug Eater last year, so my box of 30 made 36, which is really fun. What do you do with all those leftover guns and crap? Seriously.
Cut them off
objective markers.
Put them in a box.
Ammo dump crates on the back of trucks,
Okay, I'll try and find something, because there's a hell of a lot of them. I feel a little bad about throwing all of them away. Not a lot bad, just a little bad. So next is Fallschirmjäger, and my hope is to try and get a list together and have a shot at getting an army painted for Bug Eater, but it's looking bleaker and bleaker, and I may be playing my Brits at Bug Eater.
Fallschirmjäger you might be able to pull off, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a hard army to paint too.
That's all I got.
Like camo. So, all right. Who else we got left? Jeff. I think I had already asked you once, and then
I can pull them off the sprue.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I spent a week in Florida, so that kind of nixed that. But
you didn't bring any models with you?
No, God, no. Wouldn't have time anyway. No, what I did get in the mail waiting for me when I got home, though, was pretty nice. So I had bought an extra box of winter grenadiers for my Germans. And since all my all my winter German stuff is painted, I don't know if that was done.
And they look great.
Time. They're all done. They're ready to roll.
I haven't seen them.
Well, I'll bring them in.
I saw the pictures. So. Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring them in Thursday and show you. But I decided to paint another squad of them because I got a system down now, and when you get a system and you're in the groove, you should just keep rolling.
That way you don't have time to forget about what paints you used.
Exactly. Yeah. But of course, I opened the box, and one of the assault rifles guys, his assault rifle snapped off, and there's no head sprues. So I've got 8 headless dudes, and I was like, oh, man. Shoot. Frick. But I emailed Warlord's customer service dude. They're super cool. They sent me a little package with the 2 head sprues in it, so I've got enough heads now, and they replaced the broken assault rifle dude. So
well, they fixed it. That's good.
That's awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was super cool. So anyway, those guys got put on their bases and primed anyway. I haven't had a chance to paint them up yet, but I expect, seeing how busy this week is, maybe I'll have them ready for Thursday. Maybe I won't. We'll have to see how that goes.
But Thursday's in a few days, so that would be super impressive.
Right? Well, like I said, when you're on a groove, it's only 12. It's 12 guys now. I mean, I'm going to kit bash and fix the guy with the busted assault rifle. I think I can do that.
I don't know. I feel like a side business coming on. Jeff paints, and I'm going to start seeing stuff pop up on eBay with as proficient as you've been. So
shit.
I'm going to have to get better details before I could sell any. Before I would want to sell anything, but whatever. If you want stuff to look good from about 8 feet away, hey, I got that covered.
I'll give you 2.
It's better than that. So
it is better than that.
I think you could turn these winter soldiers over pretty quickly, actually.
So. I mean, quite honestly, when I saw the first pictures of them, Jeff, they look damn near like warlords. I mean, I'm not joking. I'm like, these look great.
Warlords,
obviously, warlords wouldn't like their paint job.
Oh, sure.
Like they looked pretty much spot on. Picture perfect compared to theirs. But obviously, if I get close, I might think otherwise.
You'll see a difference.
You went outside the lines. You went outside the lines.
Beauty of models, there isn't much lines.
If I could find somebody to paint faces, I would be fine. I can paint everything but faces.
Fensky.
Yeah, I know. Faces have eluded me for 10 years. I'm still working on that.
If you look at Fensky's models, he does 5 o'clock shadow on some of the dudes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
that guy's got
actually
some serious talent.
He does, but the 5 o'clock shadow is actually a relatively easy thing to do. So
for you, maybe.
Yeah.
For him,
I'm
maybe.
gonna go with
Me?
that. Not me.
I try to avoid eyeballs, lips, hair, noses, whatever.
Well, have you ever tried to do a 5 o'clock shadow, Pat?
Have you seen me? Do I know what a 5 o'clock shadow really is?
I don't mean actually on your
I usually
face.
have that on Saturday afternoon sometime.
In miniature form. Have you ever actually tried to paint one onto one of your miniatures?
I have not, no.
Okay. It's much... It surprised you what you might be able to accomplish. In any event. Nick is very good at that.
Yeah, he is.
So,
But anyways,
you were not trying to dig on Nick's paint jobs.
No, man. He does great work. So.
Secret's out. It's all easy. Ha!
No.
I didn't say it was all easy. I just said the 5 o'clock shadow is something you could probably achieve. So.
Okay. That's
I'll think
a
about
far
it.
cry from what I said. I jumped a little far.
The nice thing about the way I paint is if I decide to go back in when my skills are... put a few more skill points in painting faces, I can do that without screwing anything up. So, that's still going for me.
It is the beauty of paint is that if you screw it up, you can just do it again.
Right.
I mean, it's just faces.
Right, exactly.
I think that's a special, not talent, but a special trait that you guys have, because when I'm done painting something, I can never go back to do anything to it again. Once I've moved it off, I can't bear to go back to do anything to it.
Oh, Lord.
Well, that's because you're usually grinding out like 300 Skaven. Like, you don't want to touch another damn model for like literally the last time you were preparing, you prepared for a tournament, you like crippled your hand because you were painting so many damn models. Like, do you remember that, Dale?
Yeah, I pinched a nerve. I couldn't. I had to sleep sitting upward for like 6 weeks.
Shoot,
it was pretty
man.
rough.
You were killing yourself trying to get those models done, and they looked great. Yeah. But yeah, I can see why you don't want to move past it when you're like, I'm making horde armies and you're killing yourself for them. So
yeah, and that's what I like about my painting style is it works towards detail, so I can always come back and add it later when I get better.
Yeah, you just give them a dull coat, and you can paint right over that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, in addition to those guys, anyways, to keep rolling, my 2 Shermans finally showed up too. So I've got enough to do tank wars now.
Resin or
they're the oddball Shermans, so they'd match my lead oddball tank.
Okay.
But these ones are buttoned up, so they don't have any of the extra crew. I mean, they have the extra crew models, but they're not going on the tank.
Sure.
So they're buttoned up. So they're
were these from one of the deals that Warlord put out on the tanks?
Yeah, so when Warlord did the resin, whatever off on the resin deal, I picked up 2 because I freaking love the model. Plus, in the movie, there's 3 Shermans, so you got to have 3 Shermans, man. You know.
Yeah.
So now I've got those 2 plus an Easy 8 and a duck that are all primed, and I'll launch into painting them. I don't know. I say vehicle painting for last because it's sort of like my favorite thing to do. So it's a reward for getting done with all the infantry and everything else. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, that's most of my hobbying. I'm super excited about it, though.
Cool. All right. Last but not least, Dale, I think you probably have something to talk about because I think didn't you do something cool last weekend?
No, that's this weekend.
Oh, it's this weekend. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually cleaned up all of my space. So this weekend coming up, I'm attending a paint clinic here locally. There's a professional painter coming up from down farther south in the Midwest. It's like 10 or 12 of us getting together. It's a 2-day deal, and it's been quite a while since I've actually done a lot of work with a brush. It's mostly airbrush that I've been doing. And so I kind of wanted to kickstart everything again, so I'm doing this weekend. But I cleaned up all my space. I have some miniatures kind of lined up, ready to go. They're not bolt action related, but that's, up on the shelf somewhere. So, yeah. And then I've made arrangements to increase our number of tables by 2. Didn't actually require me to do any hobbying, but
right.
we kind of got lucky in that regard. So we'll pick those up this weekend as well. And they're great tables, and I think we'll be able to fit them into Operation SNAFU super well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That acquisition was great. Yeah. I don't know how much work you actually had to do for it other than negotiating or talking or saying yes, essentially.
It's the best kind of hobby work where you don't actually have to necessarily do anything, just be lucky.
Just business deals, yeah. Little side hustling here and there.
Yeah. So.
Uh-oh.
But hopefully it's to get prepped to start really doing some serious hobbies. So
Cool. Right on. Okay, so not much real hobby, but you're getting ready to do some serious hobbying.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of get back a little bit in the mojo, feeling it. So I've kind of got the plan for the rest of the year, and now it's just about filling in line or getting in line to make that stuff happen.
Awesome.
That'll be fine.
Oh, we can just do a quick little, hey, we appreciate it.
We love
Keep
the
sending us
pictures
stuff.
y'all send
Yeah.
us on Facebook. Keep doing that shit.
Like
Thumbs
Jeff
up.
just said. And we will sorry, I'm typing something as we speak here. Yeah, so we'll keep on that. We'll keep responding to you if you respond to us. So send us stuff.
Yeah,
All right.
seriously, we like seeing your stuff. Don't feel bad if you think you're a bad painter. Trust me, we're worse.
Well, some of us.
Some of us.
No, it's good.
You can't be worse than Caven. I mean, never mind. Can I say that out loud?
Oh,
Let's not dock someone here. Let's
I'm
use
docking
first
you,
names.
Dave. Calling you out, baby.
good luck on his second generation phone that's like 10 years old.
Yeah, right. Dave,
You're gonna actually have to send him a postcard if you want to dock him.
That too.
Anyway,
Good luck hacking that Nokia.
Yeah.
I think he might be in the iPhone era just
That's
now,
why he
guys.
frickin' does it, man. He's like,
Hey, we've reached 200 page likes on Facebook. So
Hey, all right. Hey, you know what?
Apparently
So
that's
maybe you
okay.
could do that too, is rate and review us on iTunes and like us on Facebook if you like us. And you can rate us on iTunes the way you feel like we actually should
yeah,
be.
if we get 1,000 page likes, Rick will sing a cover of "Rate Me," my friend. R-A-T-E, "Rate Me."
Rate me. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a shitty version of the Nirvana song? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I will not, and we still appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you wouldn't think you'd be willing to do at 3:00 in the morning after quite a bit to drink on one of those
He's
weekends.
got a point.
So we
Fair,
could probably make something
fair.
happen.
No, we could probably make it still happen. Yeah, I'd be in rare form. So moving right along, keep sending us social stuff. That's great.
We really like it.
Yeah. So I don't know when the FAQ dropped. It's in the last couple of days here. So I think we decided we would talk about it because I think it's important to go through all this stuff so people see the cool stuff that changed.
Also, it's good that Warlord is kind of still looking at stuff and making those changes.
Adjusting. Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, it is great.
It
Means they
dropped
care.
February 7th.
February 7th, so we're only a couple days beyond, right? Because today's the 12th, so 5 days ago, in fact. So we've got enough time to read through it. I will say that I haven't read through all of it, but that's why I'm here, to be shocked and awed.
I was upset by most of it, so.
And he sounded techno-y there, too. All right. Not terribly upset by most of it. Do they have
terribly
the
upset by most.
bazooka?
They
have the
did not
bazooka rules
cover
in
the
here?
bazooka from a building,
Oh,
no.
freaking idiots. Come on. All right. Anyway, let's start at the top. So we got all this stuff. There's so much stuff. There is motorbikes regrouping. Mm-hmm. This is the first. I think Pat does these outlines and he finds all the juicy tidbits, so I get to read the juicy tidbits and not have to read any of the rest of it, which is great. This is perfect for me. Someone just gives me the synopsis for the guy with ADHD. So, all right. So motorbikes
Apparently,
regrouping.
motorbikes used to just have to regroup D6 inches like everyone else, but now they've changed it so they can regroup 2D6 because they're faster on motorbikes.
Makes sense,
Right.
and that's fantastic.
Yeah. Did
Never
cavalry already do
impacted
I
that? No, I
believe
don't
they
think
did.
cavalry. I think cavalry is still just the D6. They're not as fast as
Really?
them wheeled engine type peoples. So,
Okay.
So you don't have
don't
to
quote me on
discard your motorbike. You don't have to just
No, you
throw your motorbike away if you fight.
Not when you get assaulted.
I'm guessing if you're assaulted and win. Page
Okay.
90. Page 90 of the main rule book is where they cover the.
So this
should
is when
read.
you're assaulted on your bikes.
Let's go to page
Yeah.
90.
I imagine
asking
it's
the
actually the
question.
same as the cavalry, but I don't know if it's still 2d6. But if you assault, you have to get off your horses. If you are assaulted, you can stay on your horses, which is
Unless you're Polish.
unless you're Polish. That's right. Which we'll cover in a future episode.
Yes.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for Pat, we're going to move right along here.
Yeah, it says 2d6 in the book. Why in the hell are they making that an FAQ? If they're
Are you looking in your Kindle, dude?
No. Hard copy.
Oh, and you're looking in your hard copy.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the other version of the book. I don't know.
It could be the first printing. Should they win the combat,
maybe.
they can group 2d6 rather than d6, and that's what the FAQ says.
I'm guessing it's cleaning up old versions of the book or something. I don't know.
Might be book specific question too, and they just put it in there to cover everything.
I don't know.
Right.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's in there.
Calling it out because we all forgot it. That's probably what it is. They probably saw it a bunch at some tournament somewhere and decided to tell us all.
You don't have to worry.
Yeah. All right. So let's move right along. So this was coming, no doubt. M3 Stewart got nerfed again. How did he get nerfed this time? Didn't it get nerfed already once?
I don't know if it got nerfed already once, but there was the last FAQ. It got a bit of a boon, and then they took it right back down the ranks a little bit. So now you can add the 2 hull-mounted forward-facing. They are now LMGs for 15 points. They used to be MMGs. Now the only difference between LMG and MMG is what? 1 dice.
One shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're treated now, even though they're 30 cals, they're treated as LMGs rather than MMGs to represent the awkwardness of this weapon layout. So I don't know how many of you have a model of the M3 Stewart or have seen pictures when it's the fully bristled version. So the 2 hull-mounted ones they're talking about are kind of on the side plates, which are angled a little bit. So I think that's where they're using the word awkwardness. But then they go further and really hurt it and say that the weapons must always fire against the same target as the vehicle's hull-mounted MMG. So essentially they're taking the hull-mounted MMG, those 2 now LMGs, and putting the linked rule on them, which means they have to fire at the same target, which is dumb. So drop 2 dice, and now the 3 machine guns on it that are the hull-mounted have to fire at the same target. Whereas they used to be able to fire at different targets, all in the front arc, of course. And I was thinking about this, and I'm trying to think of another vehicle that has more than 1 hull-mounted MMG, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head, and I didn't have time to get any research because, I was like working and crap and should probably be doing that, but I don't know, you guys think of anything that has more than 1 hull-mounted MMG in a forward arc?
Char 2C.
Because there's a lot of them that have pintle mounted and whatnot, in addition to the hull mounted. Which one?
The 2C, the Char 2C. It's the French, big, fat, ugly tank. Not the one I have. The bigger one has got hull mounted MMGs all over the damn place. But it also has a crew of like 15 guys. So
it's really long, isn't it?
It's huge. It's friggin' huge.
Yeah.
But it literally has a crew of like 15 guys, so it's never going to get that rule because there's it's not that awkward. It's just really big.
Well, there you go. I can't think of another one that has it other than the one Jeff just mentioned. So,
okay,
there we go. Kind of a unique rule. I mean, the Stewart's a little bit unique in itself. So,
well, it's also a small one, so I don't think there's 15 guys in there.
No,
that's very true.
I'm fairly certain they're not putting, unless it's like the clown car effect.
Sure. Well, moving right along. Then I like the next one because all I can picture is exhibit, because an LVT Buffalo can now carry a Bren carrier or a Jeep.
Yeah, so it used to be 30 men or a Jeep, and they've added, it said or an artillery unit. So now they've specified it's a lighter medium, and they've also added Bren carrier in addition to the Jeep.
Right on.
That's awesome.
Now, if only a Jeep or a Bren carrier could take a motorcycle inside it, that would be just...
That's a tofurkey.
Yeah.
No, a turducken.
With a bazooka on the motorcycle. That'd be perfect. You just
Could you mount an airborne squad with wealth bikes?
So the next one was kind of like really, they didn't have this? I didn't notice it. But the Suicide Anti-Tank team from Japan gets the special rule of tank hunters.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, being fanatic, you kind of automatically passed your charge test anyways, so it kind of
pointless, but still.
Yeah.
But the Chinese have suicide anti-tank teams as well, so
which we will be getting to in just a moment.
yeah.
All right, or whenever we'll figure that out. Anyway,
so the errata to the Tank Wars book was just kind of really basically they reproduced what are now the pinning rules for inexperienced regular and veteran. For the like if you're a veteran and the weapon that hits you can't possibly do a wound to you, you don't take a pin. That's what this little boxed out section basically said. But now they're just like, hey, we're going to remove that with a pretty picture. So apparently there's some sort of update coming to Tank Wars is the read-in I see on that one.
Okay.
Sweet.
Huh.
Wouldn't that be fun? It could use a little dusting up now that they've wholesaled all their stock of that.
Yeah, right.
Or would they like handing them out for free like Oprah did? And you get a Tank War copy, and you get a Tank War copy.
It was like
buy a tank here,
yeah.
get a Tank War copy.
Yeah,
So,
it was pretty close. Okay.
Next one is in the Battleground Europe theater book, and there's a Wasp flamethrower carrier, which is a British unit, and they basically said it's not a real vehicle flamethrower; it's a small vehicle, so instead of D6+1, they just get D6.
Oh, that's
know.
too bad.
That's the heartbreak. You want the real heartbreak? Here's the one out of the New Guinea campaign book. So apparently I don't remember which page this was on, but there was a special lone sniper that had an LMG, and people were trying to use that as a sniper weapon.
Yeah, the Japanese had received the rule where their sniper team it becomes a one-man to represent those guys that were just hiding out up in the trees on their own, kind of ambush style, and they were one-man teams, so they always had the -1, but they could fire as a sniper or they could take an LMG upgrade. It never occurred to me to use the sniper rule on the LMG.
So the bottom line is no, the LMG does not get the sniper rule. I don't know what kind
Someone
of scope
had
to put
to do
on
it.
that.
Sure. Like,
oh man,
good luck
How's that
trying to
recoil
scope
with your eye up against the scope on an LMG.
Yeah.
Oh god.
scooped out like a melon baller.
I mean, come on. The stuff people do is just ridiculous. But you know what? They're like, it's in the rules, I can do it. I know people like that.
Oh,
Not any of you.
it's kind of. I laugh. It's kind of funny. At the same time, you kind of shrug your shoulders and go, oh,
it doesn't say I can't fly.
Oh dear.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Kudos to whoever was trying to pull that one
off.
Yeah.
Nice job. It's probably the guy who got sick of us busting on his multi-bamboo spearman armies.
Probably.
It's probably not. I'm guessing it wasn't. Maybe I
No, he didn't strike me. He didn't strike me like that at all.
He was playing the rules as written as best as he could. He was
as
not
opposed to as
trying
rules
to,
as I can possibly perceive them to be.
Right. He was not trying to bend any of the stuff in the game. Let's just put it that way.
And he built all that stuff, so he did it right. So.
Yep. This is somebody that's trying to potentially
have a lot of fun at someone's expense.
Yeah, they're trying to bend people over because they can, because the rules.
One of those people that says,
maybe.
"Well, it doesn't say I can't, so I must be able to."
Right.
You know, because
Why
common
not?
sense is the least common of all the senses.
Well, my Fallschirmjäger can now fly, so
I got to put mine together so they
land.
can fly too.
right. We're playing Conflict 47 now. All right. So no sniping with LMGs. Keep that in mind, people.
The scope is just a bitch on the eyeball.
Yeah. Old one eye.
Old one eye recoil.
Can only do it twice, and then you're done.
You're done. You have to move
All right,
sniper LMG to the next one. Okay, are we done with that one?
Yeah,
One
I think
more
we're
time?
done.
Okay.
No, we got nothing left.
So now this jumps into the FAQ and out of the errata portion, and this is when a vehicle with more than one weapon fires, I must choose all the targets before, all in caps, I start shooting, or can I shoot a weapon, and if I want to choose to shoot the same weapon or at objective or another one. Declare all targets before you resolve your fire. And I know
Damn straight.
we've gone through this in our club more than a couple different times, and this is how we play it. And it, you read through the shooting rules where it says declare target. It doesn't go back to declare target again, declare target again.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't say start at step 1 again.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't have your 5, well, used to be MMG, now LMG, M3 Stuart, doing first weapon. Oh, they're not dead? Okay, the next one. Oh, they're not dead? Okay, next one. No. Declare them all at once, then resolve.
Right. As it should have been the whole time. As it was when we played it anyway. I'm glad they've clarified it just for that, so that nobody can argue one way or the other. It's written in the rules now.
Good
If only
clarification.
they had done that for
Yep.
the bazooka.
No, we can still shoot inside a building.
Yep,
So,
you can.
for now.
Did I show you guys that video?
Yeah, you shared it with us. Yeah.
Yep.
Not
Yeah,
fun.
That
yeah.
worked out really great for them.
Yeah.
Like, he stopped recording before I could see what happened. Well, I think he had to stop recording.
I think he might have fallen down.
His finger came off the record button for some reason. So, alright, the next one, speaking of stuff in buildings, this is a multiple launcher into an empty building or a building. So, they're like, how many templates do you put in the building? I'm thinking immediately, well, 1. Because you can't target multiple floors of a building.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
and so the exact question is, if you target a unit in a building or an empty building with a multiple launcher, how do you work out how many templates hit that building? The answer is, when firing a multiple launcher against a unit in a building or an empty building, measure 6 inches for additional targets from each of the building itself. Note that only one of the rockets can hit each building, even if it includes multiple units on different floors. Then you resolve a normal indirect fire heavy mortar shot on each target. You cannot fire if a potential target building includes any friendly units.
I like this clarification
It's pretty clear.
because the initial rules say you roll for every unit that's within 6 inches. So it's a good clarification to make sure you know you don't roll for like all 4 units in a building.
Yeah,
Right.
that's an important distinction.
The building is 1.
Building
Yes.
is 1.
So if it's got a 3-story building, and you can have 1 unit in each floor, regardless
And you
of the
roll
unit
like a
size,
mortar.
You roll like a mortar, so I think it's the 1 through 3. It drops through, and then blows up in the ground floor or the middle floor or whatever.
Yep.
That's a really fun rule, especially when you have had a 3-story building one time with someone had units on the first and third, and of course mine blew up on the second. Actually, no, I had units on the first and third, and they had to blow up in the second and brought down the building on both units.
Oh, even better. That's
So I was
perfect.
like, yes, he missed all my stuff. Crap, he killed the building. But the other, I like the last sentence where it says you cannot fire if any potential targets include friendly units.
Yeah, that's a nice distinction finally.
Yeah, I think that was missing off from the multi-launcher, and the Nebelwerfer is our
Well,
friend, of
but
course.
it's now that only says if they're in a building, though. If there are units within 6 inches of another unit out in the open, you can still target it. By the way you made it sound.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think the
Okay.
multi-launcher covers that part.
Okay, perfect.
So-
That's, dude. It still works. Nebel's pretty good, and I think this is actually kind of
Yeah, you don't
Well,
want to
you
be a
can target
Nebel on the
buildings
field with one of
before.
those things, that's for sure.
no, definitely don't. If my name was Nebel, I'd be like, I'm going to stay home today.
Call me Jacques, please. I want a new nickname. I don't want to be Nebel anymore. So, moving on from that, we're done.
Yes.
Right?
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
So, do the free units, Rick's favorite thing, like the
I
rifle
love
in the
'em.
USSR or medium artillery in the French army, give attrition points when you kill them? If so, how many points? They do. They're the same cost if you had killed them. So we don't have a lot of scenarios where we worry about the actual calculating attrition points of units killed. A lot of ours we focus on just simple order dice killed. But there are a couple scenarios that you actually read through them that they talk about actual attrition points of the units you killed. And attrition points are what you paid for them to put in the army, by the way.
So 0 points.
You have in this particular FAQ, they're saying you have to cost them as though you had to purchase them.
Sure.
In the
Okay, so it's the 70 points plus whatever it is for anti-tank grenades for the Soviets or whatever.
So
Like it doesn't cost you that, but that's what it would have cost you. So that's what you got it for
So-
attrition
so
points.
if you-
That's what it costs
If you
you.
kill off my artillery observer without any bros with him, you're getting 100 points for killing him.
Right. Okay.
Does that make you feel
You're
a little
awarded
better?
that. No, I'm still bitter, but it's fine.
Well,
It's
okay.
It's okay. You
You'd
can't
be
do
really
anything
happy
about
that the
it.
Chinese get a free unit too, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, maybe I might if I ever decide to play the Chinese. It doesn't matter. All right. What do we got next? Flamethrowers.
What is this one? Oh, this is okay. This one's pretty big. I'm actually going to sit down for this one.
Wait, you
could tell I wasn't sitting down, right? I was pacing back and forth. I love doing that. So,
just like I can just look like Matthew McConaughey talking stocks or something.
No, I did the Riker where I did the lift the leg over the back of the chair and sit down.
Oh God,
that he did on Next Gen all the time.
The worst thing ever, by the way.
Yeah. So, if you've got a unit on a transport,
it's a good alpha move, Mal. Just
sure,
that's how I do it.
Yeah.
No. And somebody assaults that unit. Obviously, that unit on board is forced to dismount and defend the transport. The question is, where do they go? And the answer is, well, they go as though they have been forced from the transport 1d6 inches. So you move them d6 inches wherever, and the assaulting unit is considered to be in assault range of them and goes over there and proceeds to kick their butt. Or get kicked by them, depending who.
I'm so lost right now. This is not in my agenda.
This should be in there.
Yeah, it's not.
Really? Did I miss that one?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, so say that again now?
Okay. Yeah, it's missing, but that's all right.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. We just... What now?
All right, let me read the question directly for you. I have a query regarding how exactly happened... Wow.
What's a query?
Exactly. It's a question.
You work with databases, Dale.
Regarding what exactly happens to a unit on a transport if it is assaulted. I know they dismount, but ... How? How does the unit dismount? Where can you place them? What happens if they win the assault? Can they act as if the owning unit player gets that next order dice? So, the unit in an assaulted transport follows the rules for units in that forced to dismount from a transport. They are placed d6 inches away from the transport as per regrouping, and then go to remain down. The assaulting unit then considers in assault range, regardless of where the troops are placed. Simply move the closest assaulting model to the closest dismounted model that is fighting, and then continue per normal assault. So, the unit on board the transport is taken out d6 inches away as though they had dismounted, or forced dismount without taking the casualties. They then have to fight the close combat, and then the unit that got dismounted does not get to act again if they haven't acted already. You have to put a down order next to them.
Okay.
So you don't get a free dismount because you got assaulted, and then can go charge somewhere or go shoot or something like that. Your turn is that.
And they don't automatically pile back into the transport.
And they don't pile back into the transport because they're stuck on a down order.
I really like that clarification.
Yeah, I feel like everything but the down order is basically how I played it before. But that makes perfect sense. Because actually, I think that was one thing that we tried to figure out before was like, there's nothing saying you can't just get back in the truck. Like,
right.
In the previous version, or the pre this FAQ, I don't think that was in there, that's a good call. I think that makes it a little less. I don't. It's still kind of risky either way. So it's
here's the little shenanigan-y bit to this is that if you're in the truck and you're forced to dismount, you roll your d6. You can put your troops anywhere within d6 inches of the truck. It doesn't have to be in between the truck and the assaulting unit.
Right.
It can be all the way on the other side of the truck, or in a completely different situation, knowing that you can potentially impact where that assaulting unit is more likely to end up. So just one of those things to think about.
They'll still get a regroup afterwards, but you're
D6
right.
regroup.
If you get a 6,
things you can do.
Yeah, if you get a 6 and you want that unit closer, you to assault it with another unit.
You could potentially pull that unit nearly 18 inches.
Pretty much.
If they're just at 12 inches to the vehicle, and then you do d6 inches behind it, plus the length of the vehicle.
If you want to pull them farther away from an objective, then you can
go off to the
other way. I can see people manipulating this in certain scenarios. Now, it is if your unit dies, you've lost 2 dice, which may not help you in the long run. That's
you haven't necessarily lost
play.
The transport until the end of the turn.
Yeah, you're right. There's still a potential. Well, does the
transport doesn't receive a down order?
If it's assaulted,
it does not.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't cost.
Also, you may have more dice in the bag to move it or move somebody up or
Right.
You know.
I mean, there's lots of shenanigans that can be played with that. I think it's an interesting rule. I don't know if it's better.
And
I
again,
do agree that I feel like it should be in between the transport and the assaulting unit, but
It's about the assaulter timing when that assault should take place.
sure.
You don't want to do it where that transport can weasel away from you because you did it the very first dice you got. And you're like, woohoo, that was fun.
Right.
And like, oh, crap, I didn't think of that. You could move.
Right.
So,
It's fair. Okay.
I don't know why I didn't include that on the agenda. Sorry about that. I must have just got excited and someone must have stopped and asked me a question and I just get back to it.
You read it and didn't include it, but it's okay. No, it's a good call out. All right, next one.
So this one, flamethrower, is that back on there?
Yes, that one is on.
Flamethrower in a unit. So they ask if I have to fire it because the rule says all men in unit must fire their weapon at the target. They do make specific exceptions for like Panzerfaust or single-shot weapons or weapons that target specific vehicles. They didn't cover flamethrowers. They do now. You can choose not to fire the flamethrower if you're like in a unit of pioneers and they're all shooting their rifles at, but you have to determine if you're going to shoot before you determine the range. And remember, if you shoot your flamethrower, regardless if you're in range or not, you still have to roll for that runs out of fuel.
Right.
So before this, the rule was that everyone has to fire, so they have to fire. It doesn't make any sense. You're 24 inches away, you're on the outside range of your rifles. Of course your flamethrower is not going to bother to, but by the rules, you technically had to.
No, he was like
didn't realize that.
typically hiding in the back, waiting to get told to run up and torch something. So
Because it says all those that can fire do fire. Those
Right.
found out of range automatically miss.
yeah, that's silly. I'm glad they did that because I was cheating otherwise.
Well, it's one of those goofy things that it doesn't make sense that you would try and fire, but
Right.
it says that it all does except for these one shot or specific targets, and like, well, the flamethrower isn't a specific anti-tank weapon, so I guess
Right.
you have
No.
to fire and see if you run out of fuel. And you run out of fuel, you take that thing out of there, and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Sure.
So
Okay.
there you go. The next one, this one's in the Army of Germany's, but I think it impacts a couple other vehicles. I can think of. All right, we'll go through the rule first, and then we'll get my thoughts on it, which I'm always willing to share. So the Strum Tiger rule for its main gun is treated as a heavy howitzer and cannot fire at long range. This would seem to suggest that the Strum Tiger is only capable of firing its rocket mortar in effective range that does not suffer the -1 to hit penalty for shots between 18 and 36 inches. Am I understand this correctly? The limit applies only to when firing directly over open sights. The range of the in-effect fire is not affected, so the range of the Strum Tiger's main gun is as follows: 36 parentheses or 36 to 84. This is the same situation that the Churchill AVRE has, which has the Petar. Is that the right one, Jeff?
I was looking at something shiny. Hang on.
It's the other heavy howitzer mounted on a tank. It also says it can't fire at long range.
This is
So basically, it's saying that it can't fire at long range over open sights.
Open
only.
sights. Yeah.
So you can still fire indirect with that at its 36
Correct.
to 84, but only over open sights up to 36 inches, and that's at short range. So obviously, you wouldn't apply the -1 penalty. I can't think what other vehicles have heavy mounted howitzers that can't fire at long range. I know those two, and that's all I can think of.
I think the Russian one can fire over long range.
The Russians got big guns and tanks all over the effing place. These guys
The
are just
Japanese
sick.
might be able to as well.
Which one?
There's a Japanese one with a heavy howitzer, if I'm not
They
mistaken.
put a heavy howitzer in a tankette?
Yeah.
No, they actually do have something with. Maybe it's only a medium howitzer. I don't recall. But
Sturm Tiger's a pretty unique case, though. That thing was friggin' massive.
Well, the Churchill AVRE is not exactly a small tank either.
No, but get a picture of the two and look at the barrels on them, and you'll understand what I'm saying. I could almost stand inside a Sturm Tiger's barrel, whereas the Churchill's one is, it's big, but it's not that big.
Well, they've always been compensating.
It's true. Churchill's limited just because it's got such a snub barrel on it.
Right.
The Sturm Tiger is limited because it's so freaking big.
Okay.
But anyway, cool.
So I think it doesn't specifically say that it should, but it has the same or similar rules. I guess I would consider applying that to it, especially since I put one together recently. that might be some rose-colored glasses there. I'm not exactly sure, but
Sure.
So the next one we come into, this was kind of the question came out there, and I'm like, guess I didn't think it worked that way. So the British have this little fun rule, one of their some you can pick from, of the blood-curdling charge, which when they're assaulting, people can't shoot at them as a reaction, and they asked if a unit in ambush can still shoot at the assaulting. And yes, you can, because assault, if you're in ambush, you're not reacting, it's not the target's react. So the actual question, if a unit with a blood-curdling charge assaults a unit which is in ambush, can the unit in ambush shoot the assaulting unit as they come in? The blood-curdling charge rule only refers to the target reacts section of the assault, not to an ambush. So if a unit is in ambush, it can shoot at the MFers. I added that last part, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they didn't say it that way.
Bloody
This
chaps, I
squares
think, is
it,
what they
though.
probably would have said.
Oh, yeah, that's better. Yeah.
That's good at squaring the rule, because if you're on the third floor of a building and there's a unit on the second floor of a building, they're too close to shoot as a reaction, but if you're in ambush, you can shoot them coming up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if anyone's playing the blood-curdling charge rule, now you're just going to put yourself in ambush as much as you can when you can, where you can.
I kind of personally feel like you should do that anyway. But,
Probably, but you're more likely to now. That's obvious.
Right.
It's your way around that rule.
Yep.
So, cool. All right.
Which
moving on.
You don't take that rule.
I see something
anyway.
about
you
Italy.
Take up and at 'em. Yeah,
Right.
they totally
Yeah.
fixed Italy, guys. They listened to us.
Liar.
No, not at all.
Oh, I was kind of hopeful. I was like, not that they
What?
listened to us, but just the fact that they might have actually made Italy playable.
Well, so this is in reference
Or-ish.
to Italy has that special attacker defender scenario, meaning enemy units can't do a run order in their first turn when Italy is defending. So the question is, can artillery units move onto the board in the first turn if it's in the first wave? So now keep in mind that artillery and team weapons and those guys can only move with a run order.
Right.
Their advance allows them to change facing. So, and by the strict application of the rules, those units would not be able to enter the game and you must leave them in reserve instead, even if scenarios do not allow reserves.
Yep.
So they can't be part of the first wave.
I like that it starts with by a strict application of the rules. That means they're like,
We're not
who is
changing
the asshole that
rules.
asked this question? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are jerks. This isn't what we meant, but sure, that's how the rules are written. I guess you're the rules lawyer.
That's as close
that's
as
what that means.
RTFR,
That's
which
beautiful.
is read the rules.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that actually gives them a little bit of a boost.
Yeah.
Even though it's only an attacker defender, but it keeps artillery, mortars, all that shit off the table for a little bit, right? Because it keeps
Around. It
keeps them off for the first turn. Yeah,
It's two rounds of it being ineffective because they can't come in on the
Right.
first round and they can't fire the round they come in because they're moving.
so right. That is kind of beneficial. That's huge.
Not going to
but-
complain.
Well, it's
When it
beneficial.
comes to the Italian army and looking for pluses, this is huge.
Right. I guess I'm looking at it in context of the army itself,
Yeah.
but
The other thing to remember though is if you bring a tow vehicle, you could ignore that.
Yeah, well,
sure, because it's not a run anymore. Yeah.
well, the vehicle gets the run order. It's just being towed.
Sure. Yeah. It's just dragged behind it, and then you just drop out. How do you drop out? You just give it an advance and it stops where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay, so it can jump
from there,
off.
all it can do is change facing.
Well, so there's another reason to bring a tow.
Yep.
Well, if
If you
you've got
don't.
medium or large artillery, you should be bringing a tow anyway.
You should.
But not
I mean, you
everyone
said medium
does
you can
the
push
right
on,
stuff.
can't you?
No,
can.
mediums-
With a run.
Mediums are
with
run.
a run.
Yeah.
With a toe, you can advance it onto the board.
Right. You can push it on the table. That's what I'm saying. It's not that it's
Well, no, you have. That's a run order, though.
right. No, I understand that.
An advance
Outside
order
of
allows
the
you to
rules
move
for
medium.
Italy.
If it's on the
Right.
table
Yes.
already, advance
Right.
allows you to move it.
That's what Pat said. I was referring to it outside
the heavies
of the
require a tow to move them. Heavies and super heavies.
Period.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're bringing a heavy, you better bring a tow. If you're dumb. if you
No
don't,
excuses
obviously.
for not having a tow for a heavy.
Yeah.
Other than
Medium, I could see people not doing it, but
other than not wanting to put it on the table while you're playing a game.
horses
okay,
are cheap.
Oh God, what are they, 15
10
points?
points.
5, 10, 15, somewhere in there.
That's somewhere in there.
I don't know.
I think you can get a mule team for like 8 points.
Who has the model for
All
that?
right.
Artisan makes some.
Well, let's put it this way: Warlord is just releasing Farm Sprue,
There you go.
an animal sprue. You're going to have all sorts of options on there: chickens and cows and ox and
Nice.
Oh my.
German Shepherd, a couple other things. So there you go. Plastic even, just for you, Dale.
They
You have an
obviously
army of
consulted Dale on
barnyard
that one.
animals. Yeah, right.
Animal Farm. I like it.
So
All right.
the last one they have here is they talk about the armies of Italy and the Axis, and more specifically Finland, where they've got. So they talk about the minimum maximum morale bonuses, that nothing can go below 2 or over 10, but the Finnish vets, when they get their half strength unit, get a +1 bump and go to 11. And special rule always trumps core rules.
So they Spinal Tap.
Yep. Finnish vets will go to a morale of 11 in their conditions where they get they start as vet, they get reduced to half, they go to 11. Sucks.
I hate that effing rule.
That's so good.
That's
All
because you
right.
don't play Finns.
Yeah.
Well,
I
the
play
Finns,
against
you know,
Finns
I
a
play
lot.
against
the
Finns.
Finns
and I
were
hate
pretty
their
low
rules, too,
tier.
yes.
They needed that help.
Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
they have struggled very heartily in all of the tournament reports I've seen. That they're taking second, third, first places in tournaments. It's poor guys. I don't know how they get through.
You know who needed that rule? Norway.
Yes,
Except for they don't have the
Norway
first
needed a
part to
lot.
get to 11. So
It's true.
right. They should just start at 11. Why not?
Something.
Anyway,
Well, interestingly enough, with the Olympics as they're playing out, I think Norway's proving that they're better than the rest of us. So
at cross country skiing, that is very true.
hey,
I
fun
don't
fact.
actually. I don't know what they're winning other golds in, but
That biathlon that everyone's so gung-ho about, where they do the cross-country skiing and they stop and they shoot stuff,
yeah,
that was actually Finland training for their military that became a sport.
yeah.
So as the guys retired...
Oh, is that
So as the
right?
guys retired, they founded these clubs to do the same thing that they did in their training, and it just kind of caught on for some reason.
my wife and I were watching that this weekend, and we were talking about how you could make it more interesting if there were paint guns and they let them shoot each other.
I was talking about shooting each other, but we didn't mention paint guns.
If you miss a target, then you have your extra lap. They get to stop and shoot you as you go around or something. I don't know.
I was thinking they get to pick a weapon based on how fast they go. So the first guy gets a gun and the last guy gets a pencil.
A pencil.
And then you range in between. You get the third guy gets a crossbow and the fourth guy gets a whatever. Just the faster you can go, the better the weapon you get. It's like Hunger Games and shit.
I'm a little disappointed that they don't have one where you cross-country ski, stop, and then throw a wood axe into a target.
That would be more of
yeah.
the Viking Swedish sort of stuff.
Right, that's
Well,
a different Olympics altogether.
Right,
That's
if
like the
they
lumberjack,
man.
lumberjack Olympics or something,
Yeah.
where they climb a tree and chop it down. That would be rad.
Yeah, and also just saying for the Summer Olympics, if snowboarding gets to be a sport in the Winter Olympics, can we have paintball as a sport in the Summer Olympics?
I like snow.
Sure.
I like snowboarding.
I'm just saying.
That's
They should have
just
snowboarding in the Summer Olympics too. Quite honestly,
what lack of snow
you see
kind
they
of
have-
brings things down.
They have a team
So
ice
boring.
skating event now.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's all you could watch for the last 3 nights.
The
For
team
crying out
what?
loud. Team ice skating. It's like the team event for ice skating. So they do all of the events as a team.
I thought that was like hockey. I mean, that's the team ice
yes.
skating.
No,
Seems right
it's
to me.
it's like the gymnastics.
All around.
Like an
all
all-around thing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
It's
I
as close to
appreciated
ballet
it.
as I ever get. So
Quite honestly, it's the only way we're going to win a freaking medal. So
That too.
we got to take it while we
Hey,
can.
we won a
'cause
medal in the luge last night, so finally.
We did. Spoiler
I
alert.
guess
Oh,
Silver.
I I guess I'd rather we win a medal because we're better than everybody else, not because we were able to contrive some weird competition that would favor us.
Well, we still haven't won anything in curling yet, so
that's okay.
Way to go, Minnesota!
Yeah.
I don't even know where that came
it's not over yet.
Like half the Olympic team are Minnesotan or something.
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
the brother-sister combo is Wisconsin.
They do play here quite frequently, actually. I know people that have played against them, and they say it really sucks to play against them because it's like playing an Olympic athlete.
Oh, wait a minute.
Or something.
Hmm.
They're like not allowed to do certain jobs because they're too damn good at it.
Way to bury the lead
apparently,
on
it's a
that
game
one.
of skill. Yeah, right. So
why do they sweep the ice? Does it direct it?
Yes.
Does it make it go slower or faster?
Yes.
Part of it is also that it's melting the ice so that there's like a layer of almost water underneath it, so it actually helps it move.
You're directing
You're
ever
directing
so
it.
slightly directing where the stone goes, either by pushing shit in front of it or sweeping the ice in front of it to make it smooth, to make it like less
friction.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so if you sweep one side of it, that's going to cause it to spin or turn.
Theoretically,
curve.
yeah.
Because one side will be able to travel more quickly than
You
the
got
other.
it.
Okay. All right.
It's supposed to be how it works. I think for us lowly people, we just chuck it at the other side and see what happens.
I think we play
It's like
shuffleboard
playing-
or bocce
Yeah,
ball.
it's kind of like playing bocce ball.
At the end of the Olympics, like in the closing ceremonies, they should have like a bloopers reel
Well,
of like the craziest things that happen during competition. I would tune in for that.
That would be awesome. I want them to start doing a normal person Olympics. Like, here, Joe,
Like
you've
Joe
never
Normal?
played curling before. Go do curling and see how bad you are at it. And like, they're going to land on their head and like, or send some dude off that giant ramp that those guys flying down with their skis and like
The ski jump?
yeah, like the long ski jump, whatever that is.
I think
Actually, that's a good
ski
idea.
Jump. There's short hill or long hill.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Just
Either way, I'm dead. Unless I got a parachute, I'm dead.
Right?
I'm not
right?
landing that.
But that's what I'm saying is like everyone needs to see how talented some of these people are because they make it look so damn easy half the time.
Here's your snowboard. Go down here. We're going to throw a crosswind at 15 knots. I want you to do a 360. A 360 what? Yes, I can ship myself 360 degrees. Is that what you're looking for?
Right. But we'll just make them, if they can get down the hill without falling down, that'd be great. Like that's what most people can do.
Right. So when I was skiing, it was you put the skis in front of you, pizza slice or French fries if you want to go fast or slow.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a pizza slice all the way. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. No. Right. So I think that covers most of the FAQ. Obviously, you should download it and read it. I do like that they didn't make you transact this time.
Oh,
which I
they
thought was
make you
ridiculous.
think about what was there before. They actually did like the, hey, it's a different color. This must be
Yep.
important.
Yeah. No.
That was really nice.
That is really nice.
By the
too.
way, I didn't read through the rest of them to see if they actually snuck something in, so it's very unlike me, I realize. Sorry, guys. Totally let you down on that.
Great, thanks.
I know. It didn't seem like it. I skimmed a couple of them, like, okay, that sounds right from before, but I didn't lay them over. I can do that later.
I do. I'm reading through more of it now, and I do like that they called out the partisan is 3d6 hits. It is that brutal.
That was in the first one, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
that
was.
was
Okay.
We covered that in the Parsons
Shows how much I read the
episode.
first one.
You should listen to our podcast.
Yeah, it shows how much you paid attention when we talked about it.
I'm sorry, this is-
Podcast
this is like
out there, Rick. It's
walls-
called SNAFU. Listen to it.
Walls of text, and I'm just like, my eyes glaze over looking at it. Anyway.
English is tough.
Most people might not realize, but Rick is like a computer AI. We program ahead of time.
He sees the-
Doesn't
he
actually
sees the
learn
Matrix.
anything.
I am the Matrix? I think you're the Matrix. You sound like the Matrix.
We figure after about another 5 episodes or so, we should be able to completely edit Rick, splicing,
You won't need me
past
anymore.
episodes
Great.
together.
That sounds about right. Okay. Well, shows how much I'm valued here. No. So that's the FAQ. Read it and weep, or read it and cheer, I guess, whichever way you want to look at it. It seems okay.
Depends if you have
I
a
don't know.
Stewart in your list or not.
Right. Well, you might throw the Stewart out and put an LVT 4
The
Buffalo.
Gaz is coming next.
This is
Yes.
my face shedding tears for you.
Yeah, you're right. The Gaz is next.
Well,
they're going to wait.
It makes the M5A1 all that much more viable. So,
right, they're going
to have a sale on Gazes,
yep.
and then they're going
to nerf the poo out of them. And then
but then they'll release like the Gaz 2 that's got more machine guns.
But jams on a 4+.
Or accidentally shoots themselves. Yes,
we're confusing Warlord with another company. So.
A couple other companies. Warlord's pretty cool about not doing that.
It didn't really exist any other fashion that I could find.
No, but they're also pretty cool about, hey, let's put stuff on sale for everyone.
Right? No, they are. It's beautiful.
Which, by the way, it's been a while. It's been like a month since I've been tempted to buy something. I'm not sure it's
yeah, my wallet's almost refilled now, Warlord.
Well, then I found that Shadespire thing and whatever.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
That's a different budget, so.
Yeah, okay. Don't go back to the dark company.
Wait a minute.
Probably a bigger budget.
Hold on. Time out. You have different budgets for different games?
Yeah, don't you?
No. That sounds my wife would murder me. I get some money and I'm lucky.
Yeah, I'm down to one hobby budget now, so.
Yeah. I shocked. All right. Well, so we'll be back in 3 minutes or 7.5. I have no idea. Whatever it takes to. We're not going to be playing a whole symphony here or anything. So,
Chinese New Year.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be some interesting music. All right. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I'm sure you will because I know I will. Or whoever is in charge of finding it this time.
Whenever you listen to it. If you listen
when
to it.
I listen to it. I listen to them, but again, while it's
the retention is low.
We're 19.
Also,
this is episode 19, guys. Seriously.
Apology in advance. I've started to look for music, but I'm not familiar with it, and so I'm trying to find nationalist Chinese music, and so if communist gets in there, the translation.
And the same tough problem with the Italian.
It's a little
trying not to find fascist stuff too. It's like I don't know what they're saying.
That's the direction we're trying to go. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go Warlord.
Warlord.
Well, that's the three. That's the three lists there. They got the nationalist, the communist, and the warlord.
I don't know.
Find something out of Captain Phillips.
From my experience, no, can't do that.
Sorry,
it's got to be free range music, man.
Free range, yeah. It's got to be have left out to dry and wither in the sun for us to do that. You can't do that. Anyway, from my experience, it's been pretty difficult to find Chinese music in general from this era, but we'll see what we can do.
So
I think it'll take the power of all four of us.
Big band, something out of the 30s.
Sure. Or I don't want
to let anybody down. We'll see something.
There's some out there. We'll find it, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. Yeah. welcome back.
Hope you enjoyed the music.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Dale, I'm sure picked something spectacular.
Hopefully.
No promises.
For our people that follow the Chinese calendar, Happy New Year again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if we do this
what
right,
year,
it will
what
come
year is
out.
it again?
Year
Dog.
of the dog.
What year are we finishing?
Rooster?
Is it the
I think that
Rooster?
sounds right. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? That's great because this year was a total cock.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like prosperous and financially successful.
Well, and it was that too, actually. So.
Okay. Well, see, there you go.
Yeah. Well, it
What
had
is,
its roller coaster moments, though. But anyway,
Well, that's all.
What
for
are
this
the
year,
personality traits of the dog zodiac, Chinese zodiac?
I would have to ask Google.
No, dog is loyal,
Loyal.
so this year's going to be loyal.
stubborn.
Oh wait, you're a dog, so
I am a dog. Tends
Okay.
towards vanity.
Dog.
Oh, okay.
you tend towards vanity.
I think that's in there. Yeah, I know they're stubborn and loyal. Those are the two dog ones I remember.
Okay.
Who are their
All right.
better partners?
Oh
Like
Jesus!
the dragon.
It's either the dragon or the horse. That one I'd have to look up.
Okay. All right. So this is a totally different podcast. So
We've taken
I'm a
advantage.
rat, and I married a boar, and it's
Don't
worked
let her
out.
tell
So.
you. Don't let her hear you say that.
Again, anyone that follows
Right.
this and is wondering why this is really cliched, everything we know we got off like the placemats at a Chinese restaurant. We're
Right.
sorry.
Yes, that's right.
I live
very
my life
sorry.
by the Chinese food fortune cookies. So,
Yeah.
like, that is, I play the lottery off the numbers on the back of them. By the way,
I'm trapped in a Chinese fortune cookie making factory. Let me out.
right? They're. And I'm going to say they're typically never even fortunes anymore. They're like just good advice at this point. So,
Or bad
Sometimes.
advice.
or bad advice, depending. Yes, but
Please not the
anyway,
next fortune cookie.
The fortune cookie is purely an American
I
thing.
know.
So-
Yeah, I know.
Much Chinese food that you find in America is, in fact, very Americanized.
Yeah, like General Chow's chicken.
Chow mein is basically like leftovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about what it is, really. So
And it's different every place you get it.
it's
Yep.
funny. I think it's actually the opposite. It's almost exactly the same. It's like they
Well-
open the same can of stuff that everyone else.
What
opens,
what is chow mein in China is actually lo mein here with the noodles. So
but that makes sense.
our chow mein is another American
Novelty,
adaptation. Actually, I don't think it's an adaptation. It's just like you said. It's just leftovers. So
Yeah. Well, enough about food. Let's talk about the armies of China. Because I don't know, maybe we've stereotyped them already or not. I have no idea in that conversation.
We're really sorry.
I don't think so. We're just talking
I don't
about
know,
how
we're talking
Americans have changed their food. So
Yeah, like the whole totally bastardization of someone's national culture.
What, they got Chinatown?
No,
they
man.
can't be that upset.
Side note, that's actually a
Just
really
true.
interesting historical study about how what Americans perceive as Chinese food has spread through the Americas. It's really cool, actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, there's a good documentary on Netflix if y'all get bored. I don't remember the name, but I watched it once and it's pretty good. Might have been General Tso's chicken, like the search for General Tsao.
Just
Where it
something
really came
like
from.
that. Okay.
did you know that Tso, General Tso, or how we pronounce it, is actually a curse word in Chinese?
It doesn't surprise me.
It's
So-
like getting one of those tattoos and it says "eat chicken."
I have
or
one of those.
whatever.
No,
So-
I haven't. It means hope. No, it means go here.
buy a number 17 combo. Yeah.
Well, what I thought it said, I asked my daughter because she's learned Chinese. She's been in China, and she looked at it. She's like, "I don't know what that says." So
My brother-in-law's fluent in Mandarin, but that's as close as I get to knowing how to
Yeah,
speak
dude.
it.
All right. Okay.
I had a roommate in college learning Chinese, and I had him teach me how to say, "Don't shoot me, I'm Canadian." But
There you go. You also had to learn, do you want a donut?
yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, now we've hammered on the Canadians, too. So
Right. We're just gonna. We got a checkbox and we haven't hit them all yet, but we're gonna by the end
we'll
of the
get
night.
there.
Yep. Coffin microphone check. All right.
Oh man, I leaned away too. Sorry,
It's okay.
that's
Jack's still recovering from his cold.
It's a rough
so.
year. I apologize.
No, it's still early. All right. So, Armies of China, is its own little thing. I didn't even know this existed for a long time. They don't play a major role in any of the wars.
Are you saying it's the David S. Pumpkins of lists? It's its own thing?
Sure.
It's only 2 years.
I don't know who that is.
Did you just say that they didn't play a major role?
Yeah, I'm going to reach through the
That's
microphone.
another
You're like, what the fuck?
American bastardization.
All right. Okay,
of
I
history.
don't know that much about them. Sorry.
Now that is
We're not taught very much.
perfectly
We're not.
acceptable.
I've not dug in on them. I don't know that much about them. I can't say whether or not they had a major role, but they seemingly didn't in my 9th grade social science class. So,
Well, here's a fun thing.
Or
So
whatever
if you
class
go
it is.
through there in Empire of the Flames and you get to the section for the Armies of China, the second paragraph actually says, it's an unhappy fact that little is taught in the West about the sacrifices made by China during World War II.
seems fair.
They basically contributed towards the defeat of Japan. The Chinese tied down 80% of Japan's military manpower. Ooh, rough. So,
That too. They had to stay dry.
yes. So there you go. That
Okay.
apparently they knew that we didn't know crap about it, and so they put
Yeah.
That's
fantastic.
And spoiler
Yeah.
alert, it's a really nasty, nasty personal war.
sure. Yeah, I can see that. I could see that anyway. They don't really care for one another. I
No.
presume.
I think Japan was
Or
on the wrong
understand.
side of the wall for them really to do something about it.
It's kind of true. All right, so let's dig into how that plays out in bolt action. I almost said another game, but then I said bolt action. I almost said Warhammer for some reason.
Oh,
No.
well, you just didn't say like the one of those samurai games or something.
Shogun.
Yeah,
Shogun.
The
Test
Five
of Honor.
Kingdoms.
We're gonna stay
whatever.
with Games Workshop.
All right.
Anyway,
So
yeah. What
they're-
do they got going?
So basically, in China, they have 3 distinct different lists, I want to say. So they're the nationalist Chinese, which are kind of a conventional army. They were trained by Germans and later by the Soviets. So they kind of have a little. You're more diversified as far as bigger weapons and stuff like that. And they also have a warlord army, and this is kind of jump page. Here we go. So the warlords are similar to nationalists, but their forces are led by only one officer, and they're kind of, if you want to make them from like Chinese, Japanese allied army, this is kind of the section you want to. So if you want to do the first one that's just nationalist, you can kind of do Chinese, British, and American uniforms and weapons, and you kind of have what the national army has. And then there's the communist army, which says they prefer hit-and-run tactics and are equipped with light weapons only, more similar to a partisan-style force.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them suffer from medium and heavy artillery, except for the nationals that have access to some.
Okay.
The
So I
nationalists.
guess my question is what makes it? What's the deal with the warlord one? That one seems bizarre to me. Is that just like gangs? Like these individuals are taking control of a piece of the army or something?
Well, no. So what happened was the reason that there's 3 kind of distinct army lists was because of the political structure of China during the time that the conflict occurred. So the emperor was overthrown, and so China broke up into a number of provinces. Each province was ruled by a warlord. And so the nationalist represents the most successful warlord who had united most of the southern provinces and was moving against the northern provinces to kind of bring everybody back together under a single ruler. But then the war happened. And so there were still individual warlords and their personal armies, which is where you get the warlord list. The communists were maybe deserters isn't the right word. They were nationalists, but then one of the infantry brigades or units or armies left.
Separatists.
And separatists became
So, yeah.
became the communist forces.
Okay. That one made sense to me. That one felt more like just partisans, like they were opposing the other side. But
Right.
the warlord just seemed kind of an oddball.
And so the warlord actually, the individual warlords went both ways. So
Interesting.
sometimes they'd fight. They were described as mercenaries.
Sure. Okay. That makes sense. So, and that kind of explains them fighting themselves while they're also fighting Japan at the same time.
Right.
some
So the
sense.
nationalists were fighting the communists before the Japanese came in.
Sure. Okay. Got it. Okay. So it's not only is it a theater book, and it's got a national army, and it has 3 of them technically in it, inside that.
3 variations amongst the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Though
So
it seems
has-
like they have similar special rules, it looks like.
Yes and no.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then as we go through this, some of the units are only available to one or 2 or 3, depending what the unit is. So,
Sure. Let's do it. Let's go through them.
oh, sure, good idea.
I'm moving us right along tonight.
I guess someone's got some place to be. All right, so going into the Army Special Rules, and we'll start with the flag is the first special rule. So, one man, excluding the officer in an officer's team, can replace all of his weapons with a flag for plus 25 points, gaining the Rally to the Color special rule. Warlords get this flag for free. What's Rally to the Colors? Good question. Glad you asked. All friendly infantry units and artillery units within 12 inches of the flag bearer can re-roll a failed order test when rallying. In addition to the rally order being successful, they roll 2 dice and take the best of them. Best of the 2.
Yep.
And if the flag is down or an ambush, you don't get the special roll because they got the flag tucked away and no one can see it.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
It was definitely better in version 1.
Yeah.
Yes, when you had to worry about the pins and stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
I've blown rally checks just fine too. So
Sure. And I will say, getting it for free makes it better.
So that'd be the Warlords.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way I think I would ever take it, because otherwise rallies are not... You're going to flub it, right?
Well, getting to re-roll first of all.
True, that is
And
big.
taking the higher 2d6. I mean, how many times you finally passed it and rolled that 1 and you still have 3-4 pins on you?
That seems to never be my problem, but I don't know. I have other problems, so
Okay.
I don't know. I can usually get all the pins to clear, but you're right. It's still good. And again, for free, it's not it's easy. It doesn't auto include, obviously, but for 25 points, it becomes a little bit more questionable. So,
I think
personal
this is
perspective.
the earliest, and this is the earliest time that we saw the flag rule. We've seen it a few times since as options for other armies, but I think this is the first time it actually showed up in bolt action.
Okay, interesting. I have no idea.
Somewhere along the line,
wasn't there another army that
Japanese-
actually had this too?
Yeah, the Soviets
the
actually have
Japanese
it
can
built
get
in.
it,
Okay.
and the Soviets can get it as well.
Yep.
So
So I don't know if that's entirely true, but I don't know when the Soviet book was released. So
that's true. I thought it was in another campaign book or a theater book that expanded the flag to others. So
it's
I could be
possible.
definitely wrong on that.
Go back and listen to one of our podcasts and find out.
I don't know if we could, because I don't know if we actually point blank say where that rule is coming from. But
No, we're kind of dodgy with most stuff.
we don't like to be held accountable for any of our words, which is good.
I thought it was just pronunciations we were worried about.
Well, that too, but
Okay.
different things. Oh, I think this next rule is my favorite.
Levy?
No, it's not my favorite.
That's not your favorite? This is the free order dice one.
Yeah, I know. I
So
see
this
that.
is any of the Chinese armies, they get a free 14-man squad of inexperienced troops with rifles. Can't do anything, can't upgrade or anything
Ooh,
else.
free stuff.
But
Yeah,
free order
14 men.
dice.
That's pretty good.
that's, yeah, what is a 14-man inexperienced squad?
Well, they're
Who's got the
What,
easy
80,
army
90,
open?
91?
91
Yeah.
points.
Aren't they 71 or 7 points each?
So I think that's right.
That sounds about right.
Something
98.
like that. 98. Yeah.
Depending on math.
Just 300 points. Don't
Yeah.
get gun. They don't get grenades though, do they?
Just rifles.
Just rifles.
Just inexperienced.
Okay.
But they're not green either, so they're always just
That's-
inexperienced.
That makes a big difference, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice, and that goes across all 3 armies,
Correct.
just to represent the mass number of people that they had involved in the war.
Yeah,
just representing them walking through the countryside and just pulling people from villages.
Like, you're going to come fight now. Okay.
And you get a gun, and you get a gun, and you get a gun. The bad version of Oprah over there.
At least they gave him guns.
There's that. So, the next rule they got here is Sparrow Tactics, and this is for the communist only, as they mentioned they're kind of partisan sort of peoples.
Sure.
So, being a highly mobile force, so they use their surprise and speed to strike their enemies. All communist, regular, and veteran units make up to a 9-inch move after both sides have finished setting up, but before the first turn.
What?
Pretty dang good.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
It's
amazing.
good.
That's like Rangers lead the way, and that's
Well, and I think that gets better as we get in here, too, because there's some other stuff in here that are like adds to that, doesn't it? Well, we'll get to it when we get there. I'll ask
All
questions.
regular and veteran infantry units,
Yep.
all of them.
Wow, that's
all of them.
incredible.
So if you already have a forward deploying, whatever, with Sparrow Tactics,
Yeah, they are the infantry units. Yes, so you're not moving your team weapons. You're not moving
No.
your artillery. But yeah, you're right. Your snipers. Your
small teams are still
Small
considered
teams.
infantry.
Yep.
So
These are just
So,
the communists. That's a
everything
pretty
that
dirty
wants to
trick
move.
right there.
That's amazing, actually.
there's
I like
some
that.
first turn charges there
There could potentially be if you can move an extra 9. Yeah.
because there's nothing here that stops you from outside 12 inches. So
Right.
Correct.
That's incredible, actually. That's a wow. I like that rule.
That's something that you probably aren't normally prepared for when you sit down to play a game.
Sure. Yeah, if there was anything you get from this podcast, it's watch out for the Chinese in that special rule.
Only
Chinese
if they're communist.
They have to be communist, but
Yes, they do.
I could see that being a common tactic in the Chinese list.
So
moving
the
up.
The last special rule they have, and this is for the nationalists and the warlords, is the bodyguard rule. So a bodyguard will sacrifice his life for his master. Fool.
I can guess what this is, but what is it, Pat?
So if an officer is successfully killed by a sniper or suffers exceptional damage, the bodyguard is removed from play instead.
Sure. Okay. That's exactly what I thought it was. So some dude's yelling, no, is it?
The
and
bodyguard
shot for
has
him.
to be
Okay.
armed with a pistol and a sword.
Sweet. Okay. Straightforward.
Straightforward.
Okay. 8. So now that's it. That's all of them.
Hey,
That's
that's
it.
pretty decent to,
yeah, it's all of them.
you're not having to pay for that.
It's better
So-
in Italy.
Yes.
Yes. There's no saving grace in that.
No.
There's no doubt. All of these rules work well for every army. So, all right, and you don't get to use them in every game. But anyway,
Yeah.
stop dogging on the Italians. Sorry.
Well, you know that FAQ came out and they had the Italians in there. I'm like, yes, they're going to fix them. Oh, no, they didn't.
Not so much. Kinda.
They
gave them something.
gave him a reprieve
Yeah.
more than anything.
No, you're sugarcoating it. It's bad.
Well, it's better than it was, but it's still bad. Like, to be fair, but yeah. All right. So let's bust into the units. Let's talk about all the stuff. So let's start with the headquarters. Was there anything cool in there?
Yep.
There is, as a matter of fact. So
All right, let's do it.
they've got different entries for each of the officers, the nationalists, warlords, and the communists.
Okay.
So which one is this first? This is the nationalists. So they've got second Louis, first Louis, available all experience levels. So that's pretty standard. Although, so if you've got more than one guy with it, you can take both the bodyguard and the flag rule. And if they have swords, they're also tough fighters.
Okay. Cool.
Not a whole lot you're expecting, but the costs are the same as they are for the rest of them. Other than you have to pay that 25 points for the flag if you're not a warlord, which if you're taking a nationalist officer, you're not.
Great.
I would presume. So then the warlord officers, they are only available at veteran. Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yes, they're like a major or captain sort of level.
They're major level.
Yeah.
Major
level.
They're major lovers too, but that's a different story. Okay.
So that's a pretty substantial difference. I guess maybe we should have keyed on at the beginning there. I forgot about that.
So wait, the warlord is a captain?
He's a major.
He's a major.
So he's
65 points.
Oh, whoosh! But he can lead your army then.
And,
Right.
And he
Which
gets a
is
free
not common.
bodyguard and a free flag carrier if you pick those other 2 guys with him.
Okay.
And there's
Wait, so you
13
have to take
points
the
to
2 guys with him?
You have to pay 13 points each for the 2 guys.
Okay. All right. So that's kind of not as good of a deal. All right. If it just came with 2 for dudes, it's a little different. But all right. Okay.
Warlord retains may upgrade. So
Yeah, so your nationalist can be inexperienced, regular, or veteran. Your warlord has to be veteran level, and the highest option. So he's got the +4 morale and those extra snap to actions.
And a bigger
But-
bubble.
they got cavalry
Right.
options too.
Okay.
And if
So-
got
They can
swords,
jump
they're
on
tough
horses.
fighter.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. I like that they can jump on horses. Is that a free upgrade or is that a 5-point upgrade?
2 point.
2 point. Okay, 2 point. That's right. Okay.
Right. And so
Cool.
they have the sword, they have the same rule or similar rule to the Japanese where if you have a sword, that grants you the tough fighter rule. So
Sure. Okay. That's kind of cool. Don't be rushing into any combats with them, but
Pretty sure the warlord doesn't need to do that. Right.
no, he doesn't have to. I'm just saying that would be bad if he could, or if he had. I guess even if you had to, but we'll get to that in a second.
Well, actually, this is interesting because it says the warlord is always accompanied by a free bodyguard and a free flag carrier. Both do not count towards the 2 optional men of the team.
Oh, so you have to. So you can get 2 more men. So you can have a
So
5
you can
man
have
total.
a 5-man unit. So that 165
Gotcha.
does include the bodyguard and the flag carrier.
Okay, that's a little bit more reasonable, I guess. That's cool.
And then you can pick up, your 2 additional veterans as well.
What's the base cost of a major?
right.
165.
So
So
A veteran
free dudes.
major. Yep.
yeah, free
With
dudes
one with the
bodyguard,
bodyguard
flag.
and the flag.
Okay,
Warlord's looking
it's got an
good.
interesting. Yeah. I'm
So
like that. Let's
that's
get to communist.
that's 26. Yeah, that's 26 points plus 25. So that's 51 points there, kind of a bit of savings.
though. Plus
And
you get the
can put
bigger
them on
bubble.
horses, which Dave would appreciate
Yeah.
5-man horse squad with tough fighter.
if they have swords.
Yeah. Well, I give them swords.
Sure.
I would anyway. At that point. All right. Okay. So what does a communist offer then?
Nothing. They're junk. No.
I can't imagine that.
They have all experience levels. They're your stock
Okay.
captain. They're just stock.
Nothing special.
Yeah,
there.
nothing special.
Nope. And
Okay.
They cannot have swords, though.
They cannot
Yeah.
have swords, and they've got the you can make the flag guy for 25 points.
Sure. Okay.
So, and they do also in the HQ. They have one of those political officers, which we learned about in the. It actually says it's followed the Soviet practice of educating soldiers to communism. So they got the
Okay.
same thing, which is
Yeah, they have commissars.
Yep,
Sure.
15-point inexperienced political officer and 2 men, and it's the no one step back. So if a friendly unit fails a morale check or an order test within 12 inches of an officer, remove 1 model and reroll. It's not an option.
Sure.
You just have to do it.
Say that again at the end of that part of
Inexperienced.
just inexperienced. But the other part is any officer or just him?
Just him.
Just him.
Okay, just making sure.
Any
Feels
unit
like
within
that would-
12 inches of him.
Okay,
I think
perfect.
the commissar is actually 6 inches. So
Okay.
this is a little bit better, if I recall. The commissars only have a 6-inch
feels a little
bubble.
better.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think they're the
think
same price at 15 points.
They are the same price, but I seem to think that the commissars only can impact somebody within 6
Who's
inches.
got that easy army open?
I actually don't. For once in my life.
What's going on there,
Okay. I am looking at the outline. I have no idea.
Do you not have paper?
No, I don't have a printer in my house. I'm so advanced. I don't print things anymore. I don't know.
You're advanced because
just
you don't
don't-
print.
Right. I don't kill trees anymore.
All right.
In any event, it's a 12-inch bubble for this version of the commissar.
You don't really want to hear me. You don't really want to hear
Commissar doesn't an easy army doesn't say anything. I'd actually have to grab the Russian book. So,
me. Does it?
all right, let's leave that for a note to maybe check up on the end of the show somewhere. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
this one says 12 inches. I honestly have no freaking clue what the other one is. So they've also got a medic, just in case you're concerned. Regular vet, same as everyone else's medic. They've got the forward observer. This can only be an artillery observer.
Okay.
So they didn't have they didn't train. I think the Nationalists actually had an Air Force, but no one ever trained with that kind of stuff. So they just don't
make sense then.
Yep.
Yeah, no air observer.
You know, those things happen. I'm trying to be too sad
sure.
about it.
Right. It's kind of take it or leave it.
Yep. So then they get into the infantry squads.
Okay, let's do it.
You're just like moving right along here. Like
I don't know why I'm fired up. I'm too much caffeine tonight or something. I have no idea.
That's cool. So the German trained squads are nationalist only, and most of their squads are like 7 to 14 guys. Mm-hmm. So they're large squads. We're talking about the German trained are veterans, and they've got the NCO. In most cases, have some machine gun. They can do 1 LMG, and you can of course do the tank hunter with the 2 points per man. They also have the initiative training, the same as the German special role.
Solid.
With the NCO rule? That's the NCO passing and getting a new one, essentially.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Got it. Okay. They don't get Hitler's butt saw, though, do they?
Not in this unit.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just hint to that they just might be. And
somewhere
on a
else,
side note,
maybe.
Yes, the Commissar is 6-inch effective range.
On the Soviets.
Yep.
Hey, I was right about something.
Nice job,
Okay.
Dale.
Good job,
Way to
Dale.
pull that one out.
You get a cookie.
Nice.
I wanted a cookie.
It's
Going
got
to
to
be
earn it.
it's going to be
You need
emailed to
cookie.
them, so it's not going to matter.
Just
Yeah.
go to a website. They give you cookies all the time.
They're not very tasty.
Probably
Usually.
not. All right, and then they've got the regular generic vanilla infantry squad, which is available to all of them, and this can be taken as regular or veteran. NCO 6 men, add up to 7 more. Standard pricing. NCO can have a submachine gun. You can do 1 LMG, and you can do the tank hunter. So these are just very stock. Here you go.
Bog standard.
This is infantry.
Yep. Kind of normal. Got it.
And they've got the conscript squad. We're doing the pronunciations very good so far. This is
The
for
American
all three
names for
again.
all these, yes.
Well, if they put the little man by fish with river and the symbols, I would have no idea. So thankfully,
Sure.
it's all translated.
No, right, I'm with you.
So the conscripts, this is had alluded to at the beginning. Everyone gets a free conscript squad. This is that same thing, but this one has a special rule as a green, which is why they specified the free one does not have that special rule.
Okay. So these are
Inexperienced.
Right.
7 points a dude, 7 to 14 guys, green.
All right.
okay. Sweet.
Yeah, they're covering all the bases.
Yep. They get rifles, and that's really all they get. They're kind of dull.
Okay.
I kind of skipped over, I think, the XY force in the outline there, because the XY force only applies to if you take the Burma theme selector.
Okay.
And these are kind of more Americanized sort of troops with their kind of weapons. So we'll just touch them real quick. They're available at all 3 levels. They are again 7 to 14 guys. NCO, submachine gun, LMG. In addition to an LMG for another 5 points, one guy can have a BAR as well.
That's pretty solid.
So there's
Okay.
your little American flavor in there.
Yeah. No, that's kind of fun.
And so this is where you start getting into the more of the historical flavored units. So the X and Y, they were the Chinese Expeditionary Force in Burma fighting against the Japanese with the Americans and the British. And then when Japan pushed them out, they retreated with the British and ended up in India. And they were rebranded the X and Y Force. So,
Okay. Cool.
which is why they're only available in the Burma campaign.
Sure.
Yep. So
it's
they are
specific
not
theater.
available in the reinforced platoon.
Okay.
So that's an important distinction there too.
So, but if you're in a tournament, you could run them if they run theaters.
If they
essentially.
allow theaters,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So Bug Eater will take it.
All right.
Sweet. Cool.
So and then the big sword squad, sword.
S word.
These are vets. Another 7 to 14 guys. 18 points per.
Oosh.
So 3 guys can have SMGs at only plus 1 point upgrade. They can do an LMG for 20. They got the anti-tank grenades. They are tough fighters, fanatic, and have reckless charge.
Okay.
Did
you say they could all have SMGs?
Up to 3.
Up to 3, okay.
Yep. It's only a 1 point upgrade for up to 3 guys.
Oh, well, that makes sense because they've already got tough fighter
Well,
to not have to
so
pay
SMGs
3
is
points
usually
for it.
3 points. Tough fighters are 1 point.
Right. Oh, get an extra point out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're also paying for them being fanatic. And
True.
the reckless charge. And the reckless charge is basically the bonsai charge rule.
Mm-hmm.
Is it exactly the same? Like
The description is the same. It doesn't say reckless charge equals bonsai, but any
Right,
order
right,
test
okay, but
to
it's
run
the
or
same-
charge directly towards the nearest visible enemy is passed automatically as if the unit had rolled double 1.
sure.
So I would.
So
take
it's exactly the same.
I would take that to mean, the same FAQ that hit the bonsai charge, since the words are identical, would apply here as well.
Makes sense.
If you're going to be
That's
logical about it.
a lot of assuming, but
Although you think about the Japanese getting both Fanatic and Bonsai for free, and here the Chinese having to pay 5 points each person for
ouch.
it.
For Tough Fighter and Reckless Charge, yes. Once again,
Well, for Fanatic, Tough Fighter, and Reckless Charge.
sure.
Yeah, maybe
Fanatic
I could
is
see
3
them.
point in most places. Tough Fighter's a
Yes.
1 point,
Okay.
And Reckless Charge is a point.
apparently.
And you didn't call this out, so I'm going to call it out as that this is a nationalist only unit. Correct?
Sorry. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Just making sure that that's a thing.
It is.
So, yeah, they joined
touches
up with the
sword
Nationalists during the reunification war.
Okay. Cool.
They're typically characterized as someone in their unit carries a great big sword. So
Shocking. I would have never guessed that.
Sword?
S word.
I would have imagined they all had swords. I was hoping they'd all have swords.
Well, they do.
Okay.
Weapons,
good.
rifles, and
as,
swords.
As they should. Okay. Perfect.
But one guy should have a really big sword. If you're modeling these.
Bigger than everyone else's. Yeah, okay. Sure. That makes sense. Because that seems like a male thing to do.
I don't know if the Chinese ever worried about compensating.
Maybe
Anyway.
not. But, yeah, they could have or could not have. I don't know.
Anyway,
all right.
so next
I'm
up
excited
is
about this next unit.
this one's good. The Guerrilla Cell.
yeah,
So these are nationalists and communists. They run the full gambit and experienced regular veteran. This is a cell leader and 2 guys. You can add up to 6
Oh,
more.
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
minimum 3.
Minimum 3.
Wow.
And it goes up to 9. So,
Okay.
and all up to all 9 can replace their rifles with a pistol for minus 3 points each.
Standard cost otherwise?
Yes.
Yep.
Standard
Okay.
cost.
Okay.
Well, 2 points
Yeah.
higher.
2 points. Well, then
9,
we'll
12,
get
15.
why are they higher?
So, well, get into that.
Oh, they are. Yes, that's right.
Get into
Oh,
that.
just
So
leading
you got
into it. Yeah.
3 that can dump their rifles for SMGs. They can have an LMG. They can, of course, have the anti-tank grenades. They have
Okay.
special rules. Fieldcraft. Do you remember who else has this one?
I recognize the name. I don't know what it's from now.
Partisans.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. All right.
So during setup, any guerrilla cell using hidden setup can also start an ambush. In the first turn of the game, guerrilla cells treat all rough ground and obstacles as open ground for purposes of movement.
Okay.
Furthermore,
Cool.
they have forward position, so they're setting up with your observers and snipers.
On your half of the table, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Now within
Okay.
12 inches of another unit.
Sure.
Infiltration. If for some reason you need to outflank with these guys, they ignore the -1 for coming on. And also, if you give them, for whatever reason, you give them the anti-tank grenades, they get the tank hunters. So these guys are
Sure.
pretty sweet.
Right? Because you can. So you're saying for 1 point less, then they're 2 points more. But if you downgrade to pistols, they're -1 point, and they get to
They're
start
-3
halfway up the board.
they're -3 if you go down to pistols.
Right. I'm just adding the
Yeah,
extra
so regulars
2.
would be 9
Sure.
points.
Right. Yeah. I'm just doing the full math on what it would actually cost versus a normal vet. Would be 1 point less than a normal vet if you downgrade to pistols.
Now you just run this in the 3-man with an LMG and put them up front with their fieldcraft. Have a nice day.
Yeah. And out of
No,
curiosity,
no,
you
I
get to
think-
move 9 inches.
No,
I think
yes, if you're a regular veteran.
Yeah, and you're communist.
And you're communist. So you, have to
So
be
you
communist
regular downgrade to pistols, so they're 9-point regulars. You buy those 3 guys, you buy them with submachine guns, so they're back up to 12. So you can be within 12 inches to shoot that first round with up to 3 guys. Well, your NCO can have a submachine gun too, right?
just up to 3 men. Doesn't say the NCO.
You know, so there's a few things you can do there with it. So
Well, do you bother to downgrade, take the -3 to go to pistols, just to go to +3 back up to submachine guns?
well, you're saving points because you're close enough that you're not going to be using your rifles.
Sure. And both are giving you assault.
Right.
How much are regulars? 9 points each?
If they have pistols, if you downgrade them to
Right.
pistols.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're
No.
12.
Dude, why don't you just run a big-ass squad of them and take assault? And I mean, because you're a tough fighter with pistols.
Yeah. I mean,
And you're
First
on
turn
top of them.
81
You're like literally on
81
top of
points
them. Right away.
for 9 guys with pistols.
That's a much better
At
plan.
reg.
So tough fighter first turn charge. Like that seems like a
at 12,
stupid
at 12
busted
points.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're communist.
Well, not
Dude,
12
if you're
points. 9
communist, you
points.
totally do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with veterans, veteran tough fighters is what you want to do.
Oh, you're saying
At
better?
not- at
Yeah.
12
No.
points.
12
No,
points. Oh,
veterans
yeah. That's
15.
It's really good.
Well, then you downgrade to
pistols.
pistols.
For the
So
assault
you're-
roll.
Yeah. So you get assault and you're 12 points a model. That's incredible.
Man, you can assault objectives held by your opponent in their backfield on the first turn.
Potentially,
Because
correct. Yeah.
they're also ignoring rough ground
Right.
that first turn
Yep.
because of
And
fieldcraft.
obstacles.
Yep.
Yeah. And obstacles. Fantastic.
Yes. So what's that? You're manning behind that wall? Whoop-de-doo-dah.
Tough shit. Yeah. Let's have some fun.
You know what? We built that wall.
That's by far my favorite unit in here so far. But
Well, way to let the wind out of the sock for the rest of them. Jeez.
well, I don't know. We're still going
Now
through them.
that option is for communists only.
Well,
So-
I
Right,
know.
with that-
I
with
guess
that
I'm a
movement.
commie.
You're a
Yeah.
commie at heart. That's the Sparrow tactics, by the way, is what they're,
Yeah.
what they're using. with
Right.
that
But
movement.
I mean there's other limitations within the communist list that you have
True.
to
yeah,
do,
you're
so.
communist
True.
for starters.
Right.
Jesus.
I'm not seeing a lot of downsides to this yet, but we'll see where we get.
We can still rib on communists, right? We don't
yeah,
have to
that's
apologize
fine.
a lot for that one.
No. We don't have to do shit for that one. Let them. They can do whatever they want. Or actually not. That's kind of the point of communism.
Well, they all have the same thing.
in the real world we're not fans of communism.
No.
So.
No. Yeah, I should probably caveat that I'm not a communist.
In theory, communism is fantastic. The trouble is it doesn't actually work that way.
No, in theory,
right.
socialism is fantastic.
There you go. Yes, that's
Yeah.
Anyway,
All
They're
right.
slightly different.
That's
things,
enough of our political
but-
soapbox, right?
Yeah, let's not get started.
Yeah.
It's a different podcast again. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, I think that covers guerrillas. We like them.
So
I like
let's
guerrillas.
move on to cavalry troops.
Sure.
This is all 3
Okay.
available at regular. 1 NCO, 4 men on horses. You can add up to 5 more. You can give them anti-tank rifles. I don't know why you would do that, but they're cavalry, so that means they're cool. They're tough fighters, and they've got the carbines or carabiners.
Yeah, they're cavalry tough fighters.
Sure. It's like because they got
pretty
swords.
solid.
Yep,
Yeah.
they come with swords.
If you
Okay.
model them that way, and if well, you should because they
Carbines
come with
and
them.
swords. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the cavalry, that just only gives you tough fighter. What else is cavalry? Okay, cavalry gives you recce too.
Yeah. So you have a 10-man unit running all over the place.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Do cavalry cost the same like base price as normal models, or still 10 points for regular?
These
Are
are
they
13
more?
points each.
Okay, so you're paying a little more for. Well, you're paying for tough fighter too. Okay.
Yeah, tough fighter and
And
cavalry.
cavalry. So you get the recce roll. That's not free. Okay, great.
Right.
I couldn't remember what cavalry costs. It was not something that I've regularly taken.
No.
Cool.
Pretty solid.
Pretty standard. It seems like they're standard-ish.
For cavalry.
I don't know. I guess all of them get tough fighter, but that's still pretty
Yep.
good. Okay. Great. What's the next one?
So the last infantry is the scout teams. These can
Okay.
be taken by all 3 again. You got an NCO and 2 bros. That's your unit. They can exchange their rifles for SMG for +3. Any Warlord or Communist Scout team may be upgraded to horseback. So the Nationals can't go to horseback, even though they had cavalry before. Apparently they ran out of horses, I guess. But they've got the special rule of Scout. Unless mounted, they count as observers and snipers. They've got the behind enemy lines, which is a really nice one, which is that -1 when they're doing outflanking. They don't suffer that -1. And then they got the carbines again. Just if they're on horseback.
Sure.
Otherwise, they come with what?
Otherwise, they come
Rifles.
with rifles.
Just rifles?
Yep.
Any ability to upgrade that? Change that anyway?
Just
You
submachine
can go to
gun.
SMGs for 3 points.
SMGs, okay.
Yep.
So
And
a
the
3-man
Warlords or
squad with
Communists can throw a
SMGs.
horse underneath the guy. Mm-hmm. And these are vets,
okay.
by the way. To throw that 45 points for
Yeah,
3 guys.
yeah,
are
you know you
vets.
got that one. Yeah.
It's 3 guys. I'm not sure how serious of a threat the 3 guys are.
I like them.
No, and I kind of do, but I feel like the guerrilla cell does a better job.
It's the setting up as an observer or sniper that's really good.
Wasn't that what forward position kind of
No.
is? I thought
Yes,
it was
it is.
similar. It's the same
Forward
thing.
position is the observer sniper setup.
Observer sniper.
Yep, guerrillas have
Yeah,
that too.
sets up with
Oh,
snipers.
yeah,
so
so
it's
it is.
both of them.
So the
Why didn't they just call it that then?
Right. Why did they
Because
change
they
it
wanted
from
to
forward
give
position
the
to...
horse option for the communists.
Oh,
the
yeah.
warlords,
So you can
yes.
get the infiltration on top of it, essentially. Right?
I
That's what
guess.
the other part of it was?
Behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, I feel like the other guys do it better.
Yeah.
I guess the only option or reason why you would maybe take these is because you're playing a warlord list instead of a nationalist or communist list. If you wanted warlord, and you wanted them on horse, I guess.
Yeah, warlords and communists can mount,
Yeah, so
put horses
the
on
warlords
these
don't
guys.
get the
The
guerrillas.
nationalists can't.
Okay.
So
That's a weird statement to make, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, that makes sense. And I guess if it's flavorful for your army, if you know that there were scout teams, not the same.
Right.
They don't have the same function as a guerrilla team would have. But okay, interesting. I'm kind of left open on that one. I don't know that I like it or hate it.
Yep.
So
I agree.
it feels a little redundant. So
it does, but can have horsies.
I think it's there to cover the guys who didn't get the guerrillas.
It's an interesting choice. 3 guys, 3 veterans, right?
Yep, 3 vets.
Yes.
So it's kind of a cheap, interesting order dice option. Maybe, I don't know.
45.
Well, no,
points?
your guerrilla cells are minimum 3 as well.
Correct.
So
They're 3 to 9.
If you want a cheap
maybe
point,
it's
yeah,
in
you
a
just get
theater or
those guys.
something.
The cheap order dice for 45 points.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got nothing. I wouldn't take them.
Yeah, so say you could take a 3-man regular guerrilla with pistols for 27 points.
Quick disclaimer here: you don't have to take every single unit available in the book.
What?
You can pick and choose. Yeah.
Oh, I
Lies and
thought you had to
slander.
take them all.
I know. That's
Shoot.
crazy, right?
Well, Pat, you don't have to buy them all either. I'm just going to tell you that.
Whoa, what? I totally call shenanigans on that. There's no way that's
you
true.
have. No. Yeah, true. I would just probably not take that unit.
And you'd
personally.
probably be okay.
I'd be okay as much as I could.
Well,
be.
you probably still wouldn't win, but that's fine.
Fair.
I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that.
I'll pull this. I'll pull the knife out later. Don't worry.
All right. That's your knife anyway, too. So let's move
Yeah,
on
fair.
to team weapons. So
Yeah. Okay.
they've got an MG-34 early war for veterans and nationalists. This is a veteran unit, 65 points. It's an MMG that has Hitler's buzzsaw.
Okay, because it's a German
'Cause it's
German
a German
gun. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
They're German trained too. So
Yep, and this
Okay.
this is by the nationalists. And
Okay, so
they're
only the
they're
nationalists
only
get
veteran.
that
You
one.
can't take them less than veteran.
Which like that kind of defeats the purpose if you're paying. Because the next entry, what's the next entry, Pat?
It's a machine gun team
Sure.
who
Okay.
can be taken at all levels and
Sure.
just have just a regular MMG. No Hitler's
Right.
buzzsaw. They're available
So-
all 3.
So for 15 points less, you lose a dice.
Well,
It's the same cost.
No. I mean, no. If you take a regular instead of a veteran.
Yeah, and they're easy to kill.
Yes.
Yes.
True.
And they're
I guess I look at them as cheap.
Well, I think
Sure.
we're
Okay.
starting to chip away as to why you don't win as often as you should.
Ouch! Damn, dude.
How many of you guys take veteran machine gun teams?
What's a machine gun team?
What's a machine?
Yeah,
gun
exactly.
team?
Fair enough. Okay.
I've taken machine gun teams.
Again, what level did you take them at?
I don't remember.
Probably not vet.
Probably not vets. Probably not.
We can talk strategy in another episode where we talk about what point level we'd buy shit at.
Okay. I digress.
That could be a thing. Yeah. No, hey, it's a conversation worth having at some point. I'm sure people would be intrigued by us arguing and jibber jabbering about it. So
At least 2
Maybe
or
not.
3 might be.
sure,
knows?
it might be just us, but that's all that matters.
That's true.
All right,
So,
moving right
what
along.
else
So
we got?
They've
normal
got-
MMG.
They've got the boys anti-tank rifle.
Okay. Yeah.
Standard. They've got the sniper team.
Okay.
Standard.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've got the suicide anti-tank team.
Okay.
So
Now stop. Do
No,
they
no,
have
stop.
the infiltration or the not infiltration forward position on those guys?
they've
they-
got a different
Yes,
one.
they do.
What
Yep.
is it? Shenfong?
They named it again.
Shenfong.
Nope. It's forward position.
Well, they've also got this other one too.
Right.
That's the TNT
Right.
rule. So anti-tank moves into close combat. Okay, so that's the penetration plus 8
It's the
hits.
suicide part of the anti-tank
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Fancy
All right.
term.
So they get forward position
That's
and
the
they blow up
suicide
when
of
they
the
hit a
suicide
tank.
tank team.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
and yes, they get the
Okay.
position.
How many can they take of that? Just one?
We'd have to look at the selector,
Yes,
which
we
we haven't gotten to.
And I
Okay.
believe they oddly enough put it at the end.
Okay. Well, we'll get there when we get there then. All right.
So
Moving
then
right along.
they've got flamethrowers.
Okay.
They've got light mortars.
Your thing says light, medium, heavy.
So
Light-
the
oh,
lights,
you're questioning
all
if they
three
have lights.
lights.
All right. Okay.
All 3 have medium. All 3 have heavy mortars.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
So there you go.
Sweet. Okay.
It's when you get to the field artillery that things start to get a little screwy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. This is where everyone has dudes, but not everyone had the same guns. Obviously. Holy
Right.
crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's the real difference? So you got the first one, which is taken by the nationalists, right? Yes, the nationalists and the warlords. It's the 7.6 centimeter, we'll just say field gun. It's got a lot of other letters in there too. And this has got a weird special rule that says it may only be towed by horse teams.
And this is a howitzer,
This
a
is
light
the
howitzer.
light howitzer that has a D6AG. So,
So
Okay.
communists cannot have this one.
Okay.
but then they've got the Type 41 mountain gun for warlords
is
and
a light
communists, which
howitzer.
is a light howitzer. This one comes with 3 guys, but they can add 2 additional for 5 points each. That's not.
There's a gun shield on this one
Okay.
as well.
Interesting.
And this one may use the mule transport.
Hooray.
That's fantastic. And then they move into the pack howitzer for the nationalists, which is another. Hey, look, it's a light howitzer. And may use the mule transport, otherwise it's pretty much stock. And then you get into the medium howitzer by the nationalists only. It's medium howitzer. You get into the heavy howitzer, nationalists only. So
I'm seeing a trend here.
Yep, the medium and heavy are only for the nationalists. I mean, and you look at the entry. So the medium is the 105 millimeter M2A1. Whose gun is that?
United States.
Exactly. And then they've got the, oddly enough, the 15 centimeter SFH18. Whose gun is that? Germans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
say, it
that's
sounds
the-
German. Well, and then you got the pack right underneath it, so.
So yeah,
Okay.
and you get into the anti-tank guns.
Yep.
They got the Pak 36, which is a German gun. This is for the nationalists and the warlords, though, light anti-tank. Then they jump into the 37 millimeter M3A1. Hey, that's an American gun. And that's by the nationalists only. So guess who Americans were backing?
Yeah. I was going to say, I could see the horse we had in the race at this point. So.
You know, I still remember, back in grade school playing Axis and Allies, and always remembering that the 2 Chinese territories were, U.S. positions on the Axis and Allied board.
Right.
So clearly that's where the nationalist armies were kind of affecting things.
Sure.
So, and then just for fun, let's switch it up and have the ZIS-2 anti-tank gun. Wait, whose gun is that? That's the
Soviet.
Russians.
Yeah.
Soviet gun. Medium anti-tank, which the communists can have. Huh, that seems really bizarre.
Oh, the communists with the communists? Holy cow,
What?
wait, hold on.
So,
Doesn't make sense.
Talk about just really a typecasting, right?
Right. Okay. So communists are kind of getting the short end of the stick, it looks like. Or not, they are.
For most of the war, they didn't have a single base of operations.
Sure.
They were being pushed and forced all over the country.
So they're basically partisans, almost in every respect, yeah.
What did we say at the beginning about the communists? That they pretty much act like partisans with the hit and trade tactics.
Yeah. No tanks, no artillery. I think that partisans can have more artillery than this, though. Slightly.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
so
anyway,
then we
keep
jump
going.
into our anti-aircraft guns.
Okay.
20 millimeter Flak 38. Guess where that's from? Germany.
It's German.
Yeah, as I
Black
said, I'm
38.
guessing Germany.
Yep.
Can you get it into a quad?
No. So this is only nationalists and warlords, and this is just a light autocannon.
Okay. Oh, it's not actually the same. Okay.
It was, it's like right around 36, 37, 38 was when the Germans and the Chinese were kind of together. After that, it just wasn't.
Sure. So they didn't get any of the later war tech, obviously. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
But they got the Bofors.
Sure.
Everybody gets the Bofors, man. Come on.
Well, that was the Swedish gun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a super popular gun, though.
Yeah. Everyone has one of those.
Everybody's
And this can only be taken by the nationalists, oddly enough, so never mind, the warlords and the communists can't have this gun.
Right.
So, and that's their field artillery, which includes their AA guns. Not a lot, but...
Light autocannon and a heavy autocannon.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're nationalist, it's got everything you need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Everything else is kind of still short on this one, but
Well, you want
there's some interesting stuff in here.
Do you want to plow right into tanks then?
I like plowing tanks.
Do we? I mean, do we have any? Let's. Do the tanks actually plow?
No.
No.
FT-17 might plow.
I was going to say, when you get to some of the nationalist list, they got the Shermans in there, so...
Okay.
It's an interesting kind of cornucopia of options.
Yeah.
Right? It really is.
I don't
It's
think
like
any of
when you
them were
look at
actually
this list-
manufactured by China except for this first one. No,
This
this one
first
isn't.
one
Actually,
was.
I think it's just purchased. So this is the FT-1718.
Oh, the second one is kind of Chinese.
It's kind of Chinese.
Manufactured.
Does it have the fortune cookie too? So sorry, that was bad. This is from Poland, and this is just a tankette with like a low velocity anti-tank gun
Yeah, China
that you have to
purchased
take the
these from
MMG
Poland.
off of to put that on there.
Right.
It's got the one-man turret. Not only does it slow, it is pitifully slow.
Hold on. I got to put a pin in that for a second. Did you just call this Polish?
These were purchased from Poland.
Okay, you're killing me here. The FT-17 is a French tank that was sold to Poland. Come on.
Well, apparently they resold them.
Which they purchased, which they resold then onto China.
Right. They're like, these things are shit. Give them to someone else.
We should also mention this is also available to the nationalists and the warlords only. The communists have nothing to do with these.
Right. They're like, even they won't get in one of these things, apparently. Okay.
These are dirt cheap.
Sure.
42 points and an extra 30 points to upgrade to the low-velocity anti-tank gun.
Well, you wouldn't do that, though. You'd keep the energy.
Yeah.
35
So,
points
okay,
for
this-
regular,
this is-
baby.
This is pitifully
Yeah.
slow. It's a slow tank, by the rules. Additionally, it is not allowed to make a double-speed run. It can be given a run order just to avoid the one-man turret rule, however.
Sure.
Okay.
So this thing is only ever going 9 inches on its best day.
Which
It's
is
an armored
fine.
machine gun.
It is
Yeah,
a
it's an armored machine gun.
Which
And you can have 10 of them for 350 points. Didn't Mad
Yes,
Bob
he did.
run something like this at the...
Yes, he did. And he sells...
that better be an armored platoon. All
Yeah.
the balls.
He made lots of friends
Yep.
with that one.
totally sells like you can buy a whole platoon of these things from him. It's friggin' awesome.
It is a
And it
7
probably
plus.
costs
So.
you a
Not
fortune.
really, actually. No,
Really?
He cast those pretty
Okay.
competitively, I guess would be the thing I would say. I don't know.
Price competitive.
Competitively.
You do tank wars with these and have like 50 of them out there.
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to touch any other tank on the game. But oh, jeez.
All right, so the next one I'm sure to make of a Sutton Skunk Holt armored tractor.
I like this one.
Do you? Okay. So this is at 120 points regular. It's got 2 forward-facing automatic rifles, 2 rear-facing medium mortars. That's what you like about it, isn't it?
Wait, what?
It's exactly how he described it.
Oh my goodness, I actually don't mind that at all.
It's a 7+ tankette, and oddly enough, in order for them to fire the mortars, they had to open up a hatch on the back.
Okay.
Which doesn't make it open topped. So it's kind of
because they
the
fired
story
and
behind
closed them
this.
again, which
the story behind this was there was an engineer that lost his right hand during a campaign, and he was brought on as a consultant into China by the warlords, and they took a bunch of American-made tractors and welded armor onto them.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Company B sells these miniatures, so it's it's interesting. So,
dude, this thing is. I mean, I'm looking at models of it. It's like a giant tractor box.
Yeah,
it's a tractor with a box on top of it. It's kind of cool. So you turn it around and shoot mortars out of the back of it. Essentially,
must be stationary to fire rear-facing medium mortars. Also, when the mortars are fired, the BARs cannot be fired.
Okay, all right, interesting. But it's a way to get medium mortars. Not that you can't take them anyway, I guess, because it's still
only taken by the warlords.
Yeah,
so.
It's still only warlords. Okay, interesting. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it was crewed by 1 driver and 2 gunners, which is why you can't fire all 4 weapons at the same time.
Sure, that makes perfect sense. All right. Okay.
Just out there.
Yeah. So what's the next one here? Let me look at this here. What do we got next? The Cardin Lloyd?
It's a 7+, 7+ tankette that's open topped.
Okay.
With a forward facing MMG.
Okay. All right. Nothing special. Moving right along. All right, so another the L333 tankette?
Yes. Another 7+ tankette. This one is closed though.
Okay.
1 forward facing hull mounted MMG, 60 points at regular. So
you take the FT-17.
I think you would, unless you really wanted to get across the field.
Oh, I suppose this one doesn't have the pitifully slow rule.
It's not a one-man turret either.
And it's not a one-man turret. Okay, so you might take this just for more reliability. That makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
I'd still do the other one because it's more dice in your bag, that kind of thing. So
I think Pat's back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
all
as
right.
called.
Yeah. Yep. You kind of said that was going to happen.
And now you've got the 2 Japanese captured tanks. So.
Sure. Okay.
The Hago.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this one is all 3 can take it. It's got a
Okay.
turret-mounted light anti-tank gun, turret-mounted rear-facing MMG, so it's one of those either-ors, and then a forward-facing hull. It's a tankette, real similar to... Oh, wait, wasn't it a captured Japanese? Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, captured.
So it's got the one-man turret rolled again and the low-velocity anti-tank gun.
Yeah, fortunately it doesn't suffer from...
The unreliable.
What a lot of the other captured tanks typically do, which is the unreliable rule. So it doesn't have that.
They must have got enough.
It's just a straight Hago.
And then they got the favored Chiha, which is available to all 3 again. Turret-mounted light howitzer, turret-mounted rear-facing MMG, and the forward-facing hull. This one's a whopping 8+.
That's a big tank for the Japanese.
Yeah.
Seems it, considering everything else has been 7 up so far.
So, next one's kind of interesting. It's a Vickers amphibious tank. This is the Nationalists and the Warlords. It is 45 points at regular, has a turret-mounted MMG. It's a tankette at 7+. It's amphibious, but unreliable.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So it's a puddle tank.
Sure.
So-
I don't know anything about it, but it doesn't seem all that exciting. Other than that, it's amphibious, I guess. That's something.
It's, yeah, whatever. So it's a floaty tank. Floaty
Does it
tankette.
look cool?
And then they've got a Panzer one that can be taken
all
by the
right.
Nationalists. 70 points at regular. It's got 2 turret-mounted MMGs and as a tankette at 7+.
Yeah, I like this one actually. It's 70 points.
The Panzer
2
one, yeah.
MMGs.
Panzer
yeah.
one.
Yep.
Not
That's-
bad.
I think
Solid
Ian runs
choice.
the Panzer one in his German
He
list.
does.
He does. It's cheap.
Yeah.
When you think the L3 has the 1 MMG and it's the 7-up tankette and it's 60 points for regular, at 70 points you can just get another MMG, which I would
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
So-
No, that seems reasonable.
And it's 2
Okay.
turret mounted, and it doesn't say it's linked, so you can actually fire them at separate targets in the same arc.
But keep in mind, you got to tell your opponent the targets first.
Yeah, exactly. And then they've got a T-26 model 1933, so you know this is top of the line.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a Soviet tank taken by the Nationalists at 105 regular, turret-mounted light anti-tank gun and coaxial MMG at a 7+. So another tankette.
All right.
And then they've got also the Vickers 6-ton Mark E Type B. A lot of description to say it's a small tank. Another, almost the same thing, 105 points, turret-mounted light anti-tank coaxial MMG tankette at 7+.
There you go.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
And this
one
is by
was
the Nationalists again, too.
yeah, one was Soviet and
Okay.
one was British.
All right. Now we get into the real deal.
So, Nationalists again, they got the M3A3 Stuart 5. This is like the pinnacle of Stuarts.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
Well, close.
Nah, I was
Sorry,
like,
I think
what?
the M5A1 was the pinnacle
Yes.
of Stuarts, wasn't it? That was the most common.
yeah.
But this was fine against the Japanese, considering what the Japanese were using.
Right.
Yeah, it
Doing
easily
just fine.
outmatched them pretty serious. So, and this is a 135-point regular. I mean, it's the M3A1 Stuart, so it's got a light-mounted anti-tank coaxial MMG and a forward-facing hull-mounted MMG, and it's an 8+.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's doing just fine.
Yep.
They also had again, this is the Nationalist, an M4 Sherman 75 millimeter, so not the big gun.
Nope.
But at 185 points, it's got the medium anti-tank, so it's a +5 pen, coaxial MMG, hull-mounted MMG. It's a 9+ as the heavy tanks as far as they're concerned, but it's got the easily catches fire, and it's got an HE because it's 75 millimeter.
And thin sides, at least in the easy army list.
Yep,
Yeah,
also
which I
thin
think
sides. Yep,
they do.
Yep.
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 As I click to the next page, thin sides as well.
Yep. So it's basically the crappiest version of the M4, but still an M4.
Well,
Do you think maybe it's the ones the Americans didn't want to use anymore that they kind of gave them?
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm-
You think that's kind of what it's seemingly like. We give them all of our scrap instead of ripping it down.
I'm not saying,
Yeah,
I'm just
all right.
saying.
Yeah.
So that's all the tanks.
Okay.
And you'll see most of them were for Nationalists. Didn't see
Almost all.
Almost all. The
One for
Communists-
captured. Yeah.
The
They get the
Communists, did
captured
they have any?
Hago. They get the Hago
The Hago. Okay, so the capture.
And the Chiha.
and the Chia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Warlords got the tractor tank.
Yep.
Lucky bastards.
Which is, I mean, that was pretty awesome. I'd take that thing.
So
All
then
right.
we jump into the armored cars. The SDKFZ. German.
Okay. Yep, that's very German.
The
That's
221,
the
222. So it's 65
Nothing special
points. It's an armored car 7+ with a turret-mounted MMG. But you can
Yep.
replace the MMG with a light autocannon for 30 points. Open
Yeah.
top, recce, flak.
Oh, it's got Recce. Okay.
So the
Well, the
222 is
replacement-
with the autocannon becomes flak.
Now that.
Sure.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just interesting point here. The 222, it doesn't have the rule for dual directional steering in here, but I'm 99.9% sure that's a dual directional steering vehicle. Interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't show up here. That upgrade actually is to the autocannon. Includes a coaxial MMG.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So
Not bad.
They also have access to the dreaded BA-10. Meh. As far as an armored car?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 120 points. It's an armored car 7+. It's got the turret-mounted light anti-tank gun, coaxial LMG, and a forward-facing LMG, which is recce. Okay, Meh is right.
Well, in this list, it's not bad at all.
Well, again, for an armored car to be able to have hull-mounted in addition to the turret,
it's pretty good.
Sure.
That's relatively uncommon in most armored cars.
Very true.
Yeah, that is something.
And it's got recce, which is not nothing.
If you remember to use it, it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's no Puma.
Yeah. Or if you get to, it's not a Puma.
Well, the Puma also doesn't have a hull mounted either.
Puma don't need it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't need it. It's got a bigger gun on top.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, that's a different episode. Yeah, it might be.
They've also got the BA-20M. So this is another Soviet one, I believe.
Correct.
So 65 whopping points. You get a turret-mounted LMG. It's got a 7+. It's an armored car. You can replace the turret LMG with a flamethrower for plus 45 points.
110 point armor 7 flamethrower on a recce vehicle. Look out!
With recce.
Oh boy, I like that one.
So this is if the upgrade's taken, the vehicle is subject to a +1 damage when rolling on the damage effect chart, which I think is typical of vehicle-mounted flamethrowers. Yeah. It's got recce though, so hide your fuel.
Yeah, God.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. How many points did you say it was?
110 with the flamethrower, so it's a mobile barbecue.
With the flamethrower. That's pretty dang good. Yeah.
That'll get your brats going just fine.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then they've got the B2 armored half-track car. Yeah, I skipped over it. I think this is a French one, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, if it's Citroën, yeah, it is.
Kegris.
Then yes.
So, there's our mispronunciation for the night.
And it wasn't even Chinese.
It wasn't even Chinese. Yes, it's French. Well,
it's all right, man.
So
I asked native French speakers to pronounce that for me, and they disagreed. So,
really, what did they say?
There we go.
Well, one said Citroën, and one said Citroën. So,
wow, those sounded the same to me.
Well, if you hear it in person, it sounds
similar.
Different.
Okay.
Sure.
Maybe it's the cold.
Not fighting a cold, yeah.
At any rate, this is Warlords only. 65 points for a turret-mounted LMG with recce.
Solid enough.
7+.
Okay.
And then they captured some more German stuff with the...
This is Japanese.
Oh, sorry,
Japanese.
The Type 92 bunch of words go.
Hokoku? Hokoku? I can't do it. Yeah, it sounds about right.
It's a noise. This is the Warlords and the Communists. 75 points gets you a turret-mounted MMG and a forward-facing hull-mounted LMG. So at least you're getting 2 weapons out of this. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I think this one's pretty good.
So for 7+ armored car with recce.
Unreliable? Anything?
Nope.
Okay. That's decent. I like that one just because I'm cheering for the communists in this thing, and they're coming up flat with all of the armor. Can't do it.
You need you'll need the suicide anti-tank teams.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second because let's get through the transports and tows.
It should be pretty quick to go through. They got some British Morris 15 trucks.
Hooray!
Yeah. Okay.
So Nationalists and Warlords can take it. It's a truck that carries 8 guys and can tow some stuff. So, and then they've got I'm gonna guess a Japanese truck, which can 14 guys. That's pretty good.
The busing nag, yeah. Okay.
These are from Germany, but they can carry up to 14, which is where you have your transport for your maximum size units.
That's a pretty good size. Like they built the truck for their troop size. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Or bought the truck for their troop size.
Or they made their troop size to fit the trucks they had.
Sure.
No, I'd like to go the other way around. I think they maybe built the truck to fit their troop size. They were right. So the Morris is by Nationals and Warlords. The other truck is anyone can take it.
Sure.
Okay.
And then they got the Universal Carrier.
Never seen one of those before.
Yeah, they only took those from Britain.
Right.
This can only be taken by the Nationalists. and they've got it's just counts as a transport, but it does have the forward-facing LMG. It can tow some stuff. You can put in a pintle-mounted LMG. You can replace the forward-facing LMG with the boy's anti-tank rifle if you so choose. You can remove the transport capability and add a Vickers 360 MMG for 15 points. Another one, you can remove the transport and add a forward-facing medium mortar for 40 points. And oddly enough, all those are the same options that the British have through different various entries. It's got recce, it's got turn on the spot, which means it can zip around 180 degrees before it executes before it moves its recce move.
Sure.
So,
and that takes it out of the armor. That puts it in the armored car slot, I presume.
If you remove any of the transport capabilities, there's a couple that remove the transport capability.
Okay. So it's based on what the options are. Okay.
Yep. So that was by the Nationalists again. Also by the Nationalists, they get a Jeep. Who had Jeeps?
Woo.
Yeah.
Oh, Americans.
I think Americans had Jeeps.
America.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta like it. And then they've also got the M2 half-track. Wonder who had those.
There's good old America again. Yep.
Yeah, and these are also... I think the Warlords get this one too, don't they? Nationalists and the Warlords, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's a 10-man transport, open top, whatever. And then they also get the coveted M3 White Scout car, also from America. Nationalists and the Warlords can have this one.
That's really good.
Okay.
I love the M3.
Yeah.
The M3 is kind of nice. 76 points at regular, pintle-mounted MMG over the forward arc. Can haul around 8 guys. You can drop the transport to add a medium mortar for plus 20 points. You can move the transport, replaced with recce, and then it counts as an armored car if you do that. Open top recce if taken. So that's pretty slick.
I'll call it solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too bad, and that's kind of where they stop.
Okay. So the whole armor section kind of is disappointing to the communists, obviously, which makes perfect sense, but kind of let me down there. I was all excited at the beginning, and I'm let down. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the list overall. Personally, I think this seems like a fun list. Like, it has a lot of stuff in it that does different things. Personally, I think it does pretty good.
It's got a lot of versatility.
I don't know what you guys think.
The one thing I don't like is Warlord doesn't have many supporting models for it, if any. I mean, you can mix and match with some of your American British sort of stuff, and then I did find a website which I sent you guys the link early on.
Just saw that.
That has some. Actually, that was actually a article written or an entry written by our buddy Brad back in 2015 when he was eagerly anticipating this army coming out in this book. He had found some Chinese troops that could be used for it.
Now, and I don't know which army this would fit into. I'm imagining it's not probably the communists, but that's... I don't know. I'm just imagining
you're talking about?
Yeah, that you posted. So, I imagine that there was distinct looks to the 3 different armies in some respect. Maybe not. Who the hell knows? Maybe they're just shooting each other. I have no idea.
Well, at the beginning they mentioned that the mix of uniform and gear between the British and the Americans for the Nationalist Army.
Sure.
And then the Warlord Army was kind of a Japanese mix, and then I think the Communist Army was kind of a Russian mix, sort of with other Chinese forces too, as far as uniforms and weaponry and stuff like that. Cool.
Okay. So I asked this question before, and I don't think we got a straight answer. How many suicide anti-tank guys do they get?
I think they just get
3.
Do they get 3?
They get 3? Okay.
So there's a reinforced platoon selector for 1937 for the Nationalists, 0 to 3 suicide anti-tank teams. There's a 1938 Nationalist reinforced platoon selector, 0 to 3. And then the only communist theater selector that I've been able to find is the 1937 through 45 reinforced platoon. It's called the 8th Route Army.
Okay.
And that's 0 to 3 suicide anti-tank teams.
Okay.
So, captain or major in your HQ... one communist officer, 2 infantry squads, or 2 guerrilla cells, or 2 cavalry troops. You have to have a political officer, plus medic or another HQ choice. 0 to 7 additional infantry squads.
Whoa!
Wow.
0 to 7
Wait.
guerrillas? What?
Yep. Plus the 2 that you start with.
Was that a warlord list? Sorry, I missed that part.
This is a communist list.
And that was a theater selector.
No small teams. Yeah. Well, no, wait. You have 2 snipers here, too.
What? Oh, this is the 8th Route Army. Okay.
Yep. 8th Route Army.
Wow. Okay. Holy guacamole.
So that's the communist list that I see.
I think this would just be fun to play. Like, personally, like looking at this list based on the fact that you would literally put your lieutenant down and they would play anything they would normally play, and then you would put everything out like it was a sniper, which I think would be just hilarious. Personally, I don't know what you guys think, but that just seems like a lot going on. Anyone?
I mean, yeah, you are flooding forward. I mean, you think about it. Your communist suicide anti-tank guys, you're rolling 3 up there. They're already at the halfway line. Well, I guess depending upon deployment, because you can't, only within 12. You move 9 inches right off the bat, right towards the biggest armor. You know, are they going to be able to kill all 3 before you get in there to get your +8 pen?
Right.
So
I'm just...
So armor may not be that much of a concern. Although a smart player is going to keep his armor back and protect it.
Well, so I'm just looking at what it would cost to give... So a 9-man squad, downgrade him to pistols. Wait, I don't think that actually worked the way I thought it did. There might be a... Give me a second.
Glitch in
Sorry.
the system.
Yeah, I think I missed something there. So if you have 9-man veteran squad, you downgrade them all to pistols, and then you give them anti-tank grenades, which isn't the best option, but it is some anti-armor. You're at 126 points for a 9-man squad. It's with the ability to assault when you have the assault special rule. I don't know. Maybe you make them cheaper than that. That might be too much, but can make them a lot cheaper with this. Hold on, let me do the math here. I don't mean to get hung up on the communist stuff, because I think the communist stuff, the guerrilla unit is incredible, and this with the special rule move forward is really good. I don't know, that's my only thing.
Don't forget, you get your free levy unit as well.
Yep. Oh my gosh, you could have 100 for 108 points. You get a 9-man vet squad with pistols. That's pretty good, and you could have a bunch of them in that particular theater list anyway. Okay.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here.
I like the overall feel, but I think to your point, Pat, I agree that the biggest detriment to this is kind of like the Finland or the Finnish list, is that there aren't enough models to support it.
Right.
You're going to have to be okay.
Which is disappointing.
You're going to have to be okay doing some hunting.
Yeah, and or kit bashing the
Right.
hell out of stuff if you want to put some American uniforms or whatever. Sneak some stuff in there. I don't know how kosher that is. But
the communists, which is kind of like the partisan list, which I think you're probably fine doing that.
Yeah, I think the biggest trick would be to find heads, and I think you might be able to do that. I don't know how hard it would be to find, but this is where Google Fu would come into play. Like as far as finding models to make this work. Obviously, I'm not ready to bite the bullet on this one, but it seems like a solid list overall. I think the armor seems a little lacking, obviously, as Japan did too. It's not like they were all big on the armor.
Well,
they weren't
again,
fighting
it was
the same war,
a terrain
so.
problem,
Right. Yep. Well, and they weren't playing the escalating war that Germany and the Allies were playing.
No, those guys were having fun.
Yeah.
They were.
The Japanese had 80% of their military might wrapped up fighting China.
Right.
China didn't have a lot of tanks. Then Japanese didn't necessarily see the need, plus the terrain. So.
Yep. You could see it. Yeah, you could see the escalation on the other side where these guys are just like, let's just duke it out. Makes a hell of a difference.
So in summary, it's a very interesting combination of lists that you can play through.
I think that in your face, right at the start kind of thing.
Scary.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
that could be
You really
something.
catch somebody off guard anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think the beauty is that for in a lot of the scenarios, I'm not saying all of them, but a fair number of them, you would get to deploy all your stuff basically after your opponent's put everything he's going to put down.
Yeah.
Which can be very beneficial. It seems like an old, that's an old tactic in Warhammer was basically watch what your opponent does and then be able to counter basically everything you want to. I don't know. That seems
This could hoard almost similar to how the Soviets can do it, only much closer.
Yeah, he's just move up right away. Yeah, you could get pretty
because
close.
they're selector. You start with your 2 infantry and you can take up to 7 more, which is just
kind of bonkers.
And that's all
absurd.
you'd be doing
with your free unit.
Yep.
And you're not tempted to point sink into a sweet piece of armor.
Because
you got
don't
nothing,
have a sweet piece
nothing
of armor
there
to pick from.
No. So you could literally,
You could take
they're
the last
108
girl
points
to
a
dance
pop.
and be okay.
Yeah, I don't think you have that worry in general.
And even the reinforced platoon selector, which only allows you the 0-1 anti-tank guy, is still a good answer for
really?
tanks. For the reinforced platoon, it still falls under the 0-1. They don't have the special rule like the Russians do, where they can say they can take that selector as 0-3.
Oh, okay. And it's not in the book that says they're allowed to take 3 of these for a single selector.
It does not. There's
Yeah,
a
they don't
couple
have that rule.
of theater selectors that allow them to do that, but the reinforced
Okay.
platoon overall, from what I'm seeing, doesn't say there's an exception to that.
I think we might have to. I'm not disagreeing with you, and I'm basing mine off of Easy Army right now because I'm playing around with Easy Army. But
I guarantee someone out there will let us know if we're wrong.
right, because I'm seeing 3 separate theater selectors for Nationalist, Warlord, and Communist.
Yep.
Which makes sense,
So you
but
still
all
have
3 of them had.
You still have to go by the default of the rule book, which says here's reinforced platoon selector,
Sure,
and then
sure,
look
sure.
at the Army special rules to say, hey, I break that. And I haven't seen
Right,
anything
and-
that we've gone through that says, for this guy, the 0-1 counts as a 0-3 like it does in the Japanese book.
I would place bets. It's probably in some fact somewhere. They're like, hey, what's the deal?
I haven't seen it. I did look. But that doesn't
Okay.
mean I didn't miss it. So, and again,
Right.
this might
Who
be
the hell knows where
this
it
might
is?
be an army that's in the shadows enough that no one's really looked at that and asked that question to get into a
Sure.
frequently asked question, as the FAQ is referencing. So,
Right. Yep. Fair enough.
well, maybe we put some
Okay.
light on it. They fixed Italians when we talked about them. So,
Or sure. Yeah, they almost did.
yeah, you gotta throw something
So
out there once in a while.
I'm putting the units together, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 squads of those scouts, or of not
The
the
guerrillas,
scouts. Yeah,
grills with
I'm
pistols.
still going here.
Of course you are.
I'm going to go into the fun stuff now because that's only 750 points.
Don't dismiss
That's-
the XY Force Burma Selector, because that is got
Sure.
some really nice stuff to it.
No, I know. Like
But
this one
that's-
just
But that one's
It's
almost
very
virtually
different.
like it's kind of a U.S. list. So
right. This is much more. Unfortunately, the biggest problem I have with this list is that you have to put your lieutenant out on the board somewhere instead of with everything else.
well, you should be able to find a rock or a woods to hide behind.
You could hide him somewhere. Yeah, totally true.
You're just talking about hiding one unit. That should be pretty easy.
What the hell? Yeah, no, this is really bizarre. Like, this is the weirdest list I think I've ever made. And you'd have to put a mortar out. All right. Well, to me, that's I don't know. Let me see. 1,000 points gets me to 11 order dice, and oh shit, that's never mind. I'm missing a couple things in there. Damn.
You were
The
so
suicide
close.
anti-tank teams. I was so close.
Yet so far away.
What do you take though, Dale? When you take in suicide anti-tank guy, what level do you take him at? Regular? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
The last
Not-
thing you want
not
him is
veteran.
to miss an order test.
Right. You don't want to be at the minus. Yeah, that -1 is shitty.
Well, if now my guys always remember reckless charge, so
True.
You know, they got the bonsai rule built in. They don't fail if I'm always going towards the closest thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so you don't care.
a
You
good,
could almost be an
a good
experience.
opponent. Well, a good opponent will shield their armor. So
Right. Okay.
So if you
Okay,
just face
well,
those bad
that-
opponents, you're in business.
Right. All right. So it gets me to 13 order dice because you had to get the suicide guys in. So I'm sorry. This is great radio when you're like making a list on the fly here.
Radio.
But it's well, you know what I mean. Not television, smartasses. All right. Yeah, you can get a fair amount of stuff in here. You can get to pretty close to a horde list with the guerrilla guys without any armor. You have no armor.
and you have your levy in there as well, right?
Yes, you would. I actually haven't included it, but you have a sniper,
Right.
three
Another
anti-tank
14
guys,
bros.
and then you have 7 9-man squads with pistols. So you're gunning for, you got to get your ass in there quick. So
Yeah, at 1,000 points. That's
it's pretty interesting because that's a lot of dudes. 60 some dudes plus you got the other unit.
You got to paint them all.
Never mind coming up with models for all of that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you at a minimum, we'll get Kevin to buy some Chinese dudes. I would buy into this if I
remember
could find
Ian
them.
was pretty excited about hearing our take on this list because he was kind of leaning towards wanting to put one together.
right.
So hopefully
I
we
could
did them
see some
credit
excitement
enough
about
that
it.
he steers clear and plays something so I don't have to deal with this kind of crap. But
I like it.
I do.
I think
those guerrillas are really unique, and that's a guerrilla in the communist list. I mean,
yeah, the Sparrow tactic is
That's where the money
it's a
is in
different
this
one.
list, I think.
but if you like to play
Yeah,
American
yeah.
Chinese, go with that national list or go with the XY force, and
Yeah.
you probably
there's-
already have most of the models.
right. If you got Americans, you got a fair number of them. Yeah.
That would be
overall,
the
I think
warlord
this is a fun
supported
list.
version of the Chinese, of the Armies of China.
This is the very Western civilization version
Yes,
of it.
I'm
too.
sure they appreciate the
The
hell out of
land
that.
lease version.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So thumbs
Thumbs
up
up.
from me on this one.
It's so unique and got so much diversity. The 3-in-1 is just so much you can just delve into and just, when I was putting this outline together, what I really, really want to do next is actually do an Excel with the check boxes for each of the 3 armies, so then I can sort by which unit I can see right away is going to go into there, and just move around that. Because there's just so much interplay between them that you can't just, we went through this and oh yeah, do you remember we said this one's communist or this one's national? No. I have the outline, I can barely tell you.
I caught you a couple times, but you did it most of the time. But that doesn't mean it sunk in or anyone knows that. It's
Right, especially
you have to look
if they're
at
listening
it,
to it while they're painting, and halfway through they're like, "What did they say that one was for?" I don't know.
Shit, I wasn't painting and I was still doing that. Where I'm like, wait, how many points did you say that
Right,
was?
exactly.
So
It's cool.
daunting.
If nothing else,
Yeah.
get the theater book, because just to read through this stuff and see it will help you out a little bit if you want to understand it. So,
Well, especially since it's so uniquely different than most armies.
oh my god, yeah.
I'm actually, the thing is I'm looking at this and I'm wondering why we haven't seen some of this just based on.
There's no models. There's no models.
That must be it, because Finland is. I mean, I think this is in line with Finland's special rules
Finland
for
has
the
model
most part.
support.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
still
go to
pretty
World War
slim.
Games. You can hit the army filter. You can select Finland, and you get options.
There's
what you get in
continuation
China?
war.
You get a couple of Russian cars. You get some American troops.
Yeah. You get anything that
And
they was
universal
given to
carrier.
them from somewhere else. Yep. Okay.
So, no
So
infantry.
Warlord, make some damn models for this. Let's do it.
Wow, that's very stern for you, Rick.
It's getting later, and I don't know. Well, because I want to play it.
All right.
Normally, I don't care. I'm normally and I'm this one I am actually seemingly excited for. So it's a thumbs up for me too. So Pat, it's a thumbs up for you too.
I just like reading through it and figuring out what you can do with it.
I feel like we're all more excited about what you can do with this than most of the other books. Although the Partisan is kind of on an equal footing to me with the Partisans.
It's got partisans right in it.
Right.
So the communists.
It's different flavor of the same thing, essentially.
Partisans
But that's kind of
1.2.
where I'm seeing. Yeah, but you can have a 20-man squad in that unit, in that game, in that army.
Because 14 is so bad.
No,
All right. Anyway, yes.
Yes.
Let's not rehash the whole episode. Let's cool.
Shouldn't? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's wrap this baby up. Anyone's got any other closing remarks to add?
Not as far as the Army, but I mentioned it once earlier. If you could, not to pander or beg, not trying to beg, but like us on Facebook or rate us and review us on iTunes. It helps in some respect. I don't know. It makes us feel good at least because there's not a dislike button on Facebook. So,
which we appreciate.
Yeah, no, we do.
All right, let's hit this one real quick though.
Walk us out.
Somebody walk us out for crying out loud.
This is SNAFU. Over and out.